Hello, it's headlines. It's Who's Views. It's Sunday. What a week we've had. Run titles. It has been a week for it, hasn't it, everybody? I hope you are well. Welcome back to Who's Views. It is indeed Sunday, the 17th of November, 2024. This is your big Sunday show. It is indeed headlines. Crikey, have you heard, everybody? Well, Bad Wolf apparently has been getting intimate. We're going to be talking about that later on in the show. Gatwa'S Vanity has been has been on show. That's all coming up. Oh, yes, it is. And also, we've also got, were you there? Were you there at the Winter London ComicCon this weekend? If you were, start getting into the chat and start telling us all about it, because we're going to be talking about that in just a few minutes' time. Lots to talk about in this show again tonight, as ever. And I am not alone because, yes, the third Dr. Ian is here with me. Hello to you.
Hello.
Hello. And, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's the birthday boy himself. It's Paul. Woo!
Evening. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
21 again.
Have we got time for any more, have we?
I hope you've had a lovely day.
I have. Thank you so much. Yes, yes.
Brilliant. Oh, listen to this. We've got another super chat to start the show tonight. Thank you so much to Digby, our friend Digby Strawbridge, for your super chat. Evening, JT, wonderful panel and lovely folks in the chat. So sorry I can't catch this live, but I'll be there in spirit. Just to let you know, he does come back and watch them all later on. I know he does, because he's one of the many people that gets in touch with us. So thank you so much again to Digby for that. Great way to start the show. And thank you to everybody that's been getting in touch with us this week as ever, including Simon and Adrian and everybody else. So thank you so much. A lot of it was stuff that we'd seen, guys. Everybody, we were all on the same page tonight. So we have got an awful lot coming up for you tonight. I want to say thank you to Kirsty as well, who is in the chat with us.
Kirsty.
Yeah, she's in there. She's in there.
Evening, Kirsty.
So it's great to see you all. But we do have a listen. Oh, yeah, just saying, Joe Parker. Hello to Joe Parker. Nice to see you. You're new to the show as far as I'm concerned. So, oh, no, we've seen Joe before, haven't we? I recognize your avatar now, but it's nice to see you. Hugh Janus is with us and everybody else as well. Lots and lots of you joining us. Great to see you all. We're going to get straight into this tonight, if we may, actually, because there's just packs and packs of stuff here. We're going to start off with this weekend. Now, if you're outside the United Kingdom, you might not understand this, but this has been the weekend of the London ComicCon, which for winter, which according to a lot of the people that have been there over the weekend, lived up to its name as a con. Now, that's a quote. It's not what I'm saying, but it's a con, because this weekend was the weekend that Ncuti Gatwa made his first convention appearance. So did Millie Gibson. Again, I'm going to say you can only do that when you're out of contract. So there they are. They're out of contract as far as we know. But this is quite a nice picture.
Yeah, I saw that picture earlier. I wondered if Ncuti and Millie, who knew Colin was.
Yeah. So
you wonder, don't you? Yeah.
We're currently showing a picture from the London Comic-Con of Colin Baker with Ncuti Gatwa and Millie Gibson. It's quite a nice picture, actually.
I wonder if he paid 250 quid to get a photograph with them or not.
Well, this is the problem.
Maybe they paid to have a picture with Magic Santa. I don't know.
I'd like to think so. That'd be very good.
Well, for those of you that don't know, this apparently has been massively disorganized. And there were complaints after complaints after complaints from the millions of people that are still on X. Fans that went to see Ncuti Gatwa, who had all paid in advance, by the way, were told yesterday, on Saturday, to come back today, which is the Sunday, because as one fan said, pure chaos. For one thing, it doesn't look like the venue is big enough anymore, so it looks like they need to relocate. This is Showmasters who put this thing on, isn't it, for the Comic Cons down there? So it looks like they need a new venue if they're having such a big draw as this, because there was lots of people there. There's not just Ncuti and Millie and Colin. There were other people there as well, guys.
Yeah.
One lady called Naomi on X said that she was told to come back today, which she did. And she said, well, barely 100 came back for Ncuti, so it was a very easy shoot. But Showmasters do need a different venue.
Apparently, though, on the first day, it was really, really busy with people wanted to see Shooty, and some people had to be, like you say, come back the next day, or if they're only there for the Saturday, they'd have to get a refund because they couldn't get to see him.
Yeah,
and that special gold passes or whatever you get to get extra exclusive features in your meet or whatever, you know.
Well, let's put this in there because, like, as I say, fans have gone to this thing. We talked about it ages ago here on Headlines, didn't we? When it was announced, we put it into the show. So fans have been paying now for a standard autograph for Shooty Gatwa. It was £125. For the standard photo, it was £95. For a prop photo, which I assume is him with the alleged sonic screwdriver or the TARDIS or something like that, that was £110. The diamond pass, which is a mix of all sorts of little things that they sell, was £275. And to have a picture of you with Shooty and Millie Gibson was £175. Now, I put it to you, everybody. I would have taken my money back, to be quite honest, because this is what this is how he was signing things.
Yeah, yeah.
Have you seen this, everybody in the chat? This is Shooty's alleged autograph. And apparently some people have taken to Twitter wondering if he can actually do join up writing. That's it.
It's interesting, though, that all the doctors now write. I mean, my Paul McGann he's got the eight underneath in Roman numerals. So they're all kind of putting their incarnation number on it, aren't they now?
Well, it's sort of daft, isn't it? I mean, you know, in
Yeah.
my day, they just wrote the Doctor, if they wrote anything.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
What's also the X and a 0? Is that a kiss and something? I hate to think. Kirsty's what is that? That is youth speak, even though he's something like 30-something years old. Grow up, my man. But I mean, what is that about? But that is what you're paying, everybody, £125 for. Give me the £125, everybody, and I'll do exactly the same thing with my chalk pens for you.
Well,
honestly.
I think you could easily forge that signature. That'll be an interesting one to identify as a genuine signature when it's sold on eBay for 5 pence, you know?
That's not even a signature.
Yeah.
Is it? I mean, in the future, they're going to say, was that really Shooty Gatwa? How are you going to prove it is?
Yeah.
That's like on a form where you have to print it at the side of your signature, isn't it?
Yeah.
Really.
If he can't write his name, an X would have done, wouldn't it? That would have been enough.
Exactly.
No, he'll have moved from X, wouldn't he? So
okay, yeah.
Well, yeah, we've got an awful lot of people saying happy birthday to you, Paul, in the chat, by the way.
Thank you so much, everyone. I appreciate your kind birthday thoughts and wishes.
Yeah.
I do, honestly.
Yeah, we do. No, I mean, we do. No, we do. No, we do. We do. Heretic OSJC says, I wasn't at LFCC, but I heard the queues were insufferable as RTD and a fan got weird with Millie. Oh, he was there as well, was he? I didn't realize RTD was there. Is that right?
We need to know more about this, don't we?
Yes, please give us the tea. Come on.
Yeah. Sam says to us, evening all. Well, I survived the madness of Shooty and Millie at ComicCon mainly by going nowhere near Shooty and Millie. Yeah, I mean, there were lots of other people to see as well, but let me just put it in case there for you all. So we've gone through the prices for Shooty Gatwa. Horrendous prices there. I just can't. And it's not just Gatwa that does this. Tennant does it. Eccleston does this. I believe Smith does this. Now this is Whitaker does this. What are they doing? What are they doing here? I think I'll show you. To put it in context, Colin Baker was there, as we saw there in the shot. His autograph was £25, with the standard photo with Colin was also £25. Now he's going to make more money.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
You know,
he's more popular as well. I mean, if it was just Shooty there instead of anybody else as well, I mean, they would have definitely needed a smaller venue, wouldn't they?
Although, having said that, I've seen reports saying that his queues were quite long, which does surprise me a little bit. You know?
It doesn't surprise me because it's his first one.
Yeah.
And it's London. So I'm not surprised because we do know that some of the fans, we know them well. They are watching this. They love this. They protect it to the ends of the earth. So they're going to turn up for their Doctor. But it's not Longleat. Let's put it that way.
No, it's not. No.
It's not Longleat. So it looks popular because it's a very small venue. But it's also, you know, it's not the thousands that went to Longleat or the thousands that went to even the 50th anniversary one. It's not in that. It was hundreds. But a lot of those people would have been autograph hunters as well. Let's face it. I don't know. But you know, if you went there, what's this from Bill Lowry? Hiya, Bill. Some people were told they couldn't get a dedication from Gatwa or Gibson on Saturday, but allowed it on Sunday. Now that's something else I wanted to come to, because apparently times had gone out the window, as Bill's alluding to there. On Saturday, I don't know why. I don't know. People aren't saying necessarily why. Was Shooty late? Did he have to leave early?
He had to leave early because he had to go to rehearsal or something, and that's why he had a talk to do as well on the day. And I think he did that today rather than Saturday. He had to go to rehearsal. I think that's
very bad planning and management. Then
very bad planning. Yeah,
very bad planning and management. If Showmasters knew that he had to go to a rehearsal, then he should have been released at least an hour and a half before the rehearsal, maybe even 2. So why didn't they start it earlier? Because I was seeing tweets yesterday morning saying, "Oh, we've started," and that was 9 o'clock in the morning with various people signing pictures there, not from Doctor Who, but from other things. You know, so this was
a Doctor-like convention, was it? Interestingly.
Yeah. Well, yeah. But anyway, we've got, what was the thing? Yeah. So this is the case here where the planning needs to be looked at. And to turn around to say to fans, a lot of whom would only be able to do the Monday, this Saturday, this is London. You know, some of them would have traveled from all over the UK, maybe even around the world. Hotels are expensive. The travel is expensive. Getting to London is expensive. Nobody likes to travel out of London on a Sunday because it's nigh on impossible. You know, because anything can happen on our railway systems on a Sunday. Let's face it. You know, you can get
apart from the trains running, obviously.
Apart from the trains running,
allegedly.
Yeah. So it's shocking that all this wasn't put into the planning, and it seems to be a lack of communication as well, and it's infuriating. This is why I don't like these comic cons that have come into the country now and taken over all the conventions. You know, I preferred it Doctor Who conventions, proper Doctor Who conventions, run by fans, for fans, because they were run properly. They were not astronomical. They had the people from the show. It was usually over a weekend or something like that. You didn't get all this nonsense. You did not get this nonsense. You know, if you got somebody pulling out, you were told in the morning or whenever, whatever, but you had other people for it. Comic-Con for me, I think personally, I wouldn't give it the time of day.
No.
Millie Gibson herself was £55 for her standard autograph. The diamond on Saturday, the diamond package on the Saturday alone was £145, and today it was £155 for some reason. And then a photo shoot with her and Bonnie Langford, who was also there, was £90.
So I'm still willing about £275 for Shooty. That's still exorbitant amount of money. So.
I think it's not reflective of the world we're living in either, is it? I mean, you know, there's cost of living issues and everything everywhere, and getting to London as well, and they're still determined to soak the poor people. I'm thinking of words that want to go and see Shooty. You know, they're still quite happy to soak them of every penny they've got. It's not really very moral, is it?
It's not. And as you guys are saying in here as well, you know, how much has Randy Batswinger, problem being, was saying to us so much for socialism. Mark is with us saying to us here, who's in charge of Showmasters? Is it RTD? And Rick Storm saying some people have more money than sense. Now, some of these young people that went here as well were young. They're in their 20s, or even I saw some little ones there dressed in leather jackets and stuff. So who's paying for them? Do they have to pay? There's lots of money being made in this now, and people know it. There are certain people that have said to the actors from Doctor Who, well, come and work with us and we'll book you into the conventions, which means that anybody putting up the convention has to now go through them. So they're paying a finder's fee, as it were, and, you know, an agent's fee, as well as the actor. So they're making money off the back of fans as well. And yet all these fans, all these actors will come out very happily and slag you off or tell you you're a nis or a phobe or not, as will the people surrounding them. But they're quite happy to take your money. This is, again, hypocrisy of this industry. It's shocking. Why are you bothering? Don't bother with bits of their scroll. They're just human beings. They're all going to die. You know, it's just at some point, I just don't get it. You know,
it's not a Tom Baker signature, is it? I mean, the queues would be down the street for that, and it'd be worth every second that you spent with him. I mean, I think the guy's vacuous, and I think looking at his signature's vacuous as well.
Yeah,
no time for it.
Yeah.
Apparently, Kirsty's telling me that little X and the 0 there that Gatwa has written, not even his surname, just Shooty. You're not Madonna. You're not Beyonce, love. Do you know what I mean? You're not one of these people that can just use one word. You please explain to people in the future who you are. You're not a megastar, love. There's a note for you, darling. Kirsty's saying it means a kiss and a hug. What?
So the circular thing's a hug. Okay.
I thought he'd misspelled OXO.
Yeah. Yes.
Woodhouse 122 said quite correctly, if I wrote like that at school, I'd be in bother. Absolutely. Noodle Arms is saying quite correctly that the picture is worth more without the signature. You're actually quite right, because that was the Regeneration box set, which is now deleted. And it's not hugely valuable. I think it's only worth something like £100 or something like that. So it's not hugely valuable, but you can get it for around about that, if not a little bit more now. So, but I can't believe it. So if you were there this weekend at the Winter London ComicCon, and as I say, there were hundreds of people there, but all of them were calling it chaotic, pure chaos, disorganized, no organization. It goes on and on and on. And if you are seeing this from Showmasters, get your act together, because people are paying over £100 for this to go see these people. It just frustrates me.
Was that the entry fee?
No, the entry fee is it's not. No, that's just him.
That's separate, isn't it? So you have an entry fee or a select ticket or whatever, and whatever you pay for your autographs, photographs, etc. on top of that, isn't that right? So it's
you have to get in.
Different charges. Yeah, you got to get in, and you got to pay for what you want from the celebrity. Yeah.
It's an absolute take on.
It really is. And where are these people getting the money from? I mean, they must be working all hours to pay for this. I did see a friend of mine on Facebook recently saying he's now going to cut down his convention appearances because it's cost too much, because he goes to absolutely everything. And I was telling him 2 years ago, you have to be selective. You can't go to them all. Marjorie, hiya, Marjorie, how are you? I would hang out with Colin Baker along with you, Ian and Paul, and go out with £100 for dinner.
That's a date to look forward to.
That'd be good. Yeah, we're up for that.
Yeah,
you would, but £100 won't get us very far these days, I tell you.
Well, sell for a bag of chips is fine. Honestly, it's nice. I'm a cheap date.
It'd be Colin's starters, wouldn't it?
Well, yeah, I don't know. Robert Payne, hello to you. No, that's not a signature. It's the way a 10-year-old would write. And problem being is saying handwriting of a child. It's great to see you all in the chat. Thank you for watching. Thank you for joining us. I'm going to get through as much of your comments here as possible. Here's Sam saying to us, he had to change his schedule last minute, apparently. So he had to leave at 2 p.m. That's shocking.
Yeah.
I mean, when you become an actor, you understand the word commitment.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't.
Well, no, obviously. And I don't think that generation of actors do. Because if you've committed to go into a convention and meeting your fans for your first time especially, and you're going to be there from, say, 10 till 4, you do 10 till 4, in my eyes. No, you don't just say, oh, I've got to go now.
Does he get a fee for going to bed first as well? So he gets a fee for turning up and then the signing fees as well?
Yes, of course he does. And that's how it works. So somebody who's put these things together, you have to pay them. You have to pay them to be there. So you're paying them a salary, and then everything else that they make at the gig is extra. So that's why
I hope they docked some of his wages then if he left early, for goodness sake.
I wonder if it's all declared as well. It just smacks of shady practice.
Well, if it's cash only, you never know. Yeah,
it sounds like shady practice. You won't get away with that anywhere else.
Well, I don't know, but
allegedly, of course.
Allegedly,
it's all down to them. It's Ian being speculative, but Heretic OSJC is saying to us, no, I'm comparing the queues to RTD. They were both insufferable. Oh, I see. Okay, thank you, mate. Nice to see you. Thank you for that. I had the best weekend not going to London Comic Con, says Garbage, who's joining us as well. Thank you very much. Thank you. Yes, you might think that, but we couldn't possibly comment. Randy Batswinger, who's saying, is shooting allowed anything sharper than crayons?
Maybe the safety scissors, perhaps. He might be allowed them. Yeah.
Heretic is also telling us
now, wouldn't he?
Yeah, Heretic is also saying, I don't know the Millie drama, but I saw a tweet from a YouTuber saying they'd heard about the fan being weird with Millie, but I wanted to know more about what happened. Well, do you know what? It's science fiction.
Yeah, fans being weird.
I mean,
surely
it's science fiction. For those of us that have been around for as long as we've been around, I've seen some things from certain fans in my time as well. The actors as well as from the actors is to understand it and to get on with it, because everybody's different. And some people have certain conditions. Some people are just rude. Some people can be arrogant, and they're just the people that work on the show. So yeah. I mean, I've met some fabulous people. I've also met some real weirdos who were also fabulous in their way. Luckily, I haven't met the real weird ones that need to be locked up.
We're on here, aren't we?
No, I mean real weird.
Real,
weird.
Yeah.
Tony Farrell is with us.
We can improve.
Yeah.
Tony Farrell is, well, there have been that side of it in fandom as well. Tony Farrell saying, I have dozens of original Target books which were signed free of charge by Tom Baker in 1976. Exactly, Tony, because we'll remember the days where actors didn't charge. It was just, it was just something they did, and they were delighted to do it. They were meeting their fans. They were meeting their public. Yes, I will sign that. Can you imagine Pertwee now if he was alive? Oh. God.
I love when you see photographs of the height of Doctor Who in the 70s when Pertwee opened the exhibition, or you see Tom at signings for Target or whatever, and there are thousands of people there, and they deserve that fan adoration, not like Shooty, really, honestly,
No, but this is it. I mean, well, they did earn it, but this is them, because these Comic Cons for me are totally different to Doctor Who conventions, because that's where Doctor Who fans go who love the show. The Comic Cons are a mix of all these sorts of stuff, and they attract kids that just want to dress up.
Yeah.
And having been to a couple of Comic Cons for my sins, I was never that comfortable at them, because there was a feeling of narcissism there. And it can be more about the person that's showing the actor from the green room to the chair. Do you know what I mean?
What's a bit like I'd imagine is, through this analogy, it's like being in a nudist camp with your clothes on. You feel like you're at a place when you're dressed normally, because everyone's dressed as the Doctor or Chewbacca or whatever kind of thing. It's just really odd, isn't it?
It is. It's weird. It is weird. We've got here Rob Alexander. Hello, Rob. The time was, if you saw an actor on the street and asked nicely, they would sign an autograph for free. I wonder if Shooty, Tennant Smith, etc., would even consider this outside of a con. Don't know.
Possibly Smith. He does, or he certainly did.
I think Capaldi as well, thinking about it.
Yeah, but Tennant, not a chance. Gatwa, no way.
Yeah. What's how we got here? Prevalent Being saying, so only 100 came back. Did the rest go and touch grass? Well, a lot of them, of course, Lee, wouldn't have been able to go back on the Sunday, because they would have only been in London that day because of the cost implication. Or were traveling back to wherever they come from today because of the cost implication. So yeah, according to that lady on X, barely 100 came back for Shooty today. So he'll be feeling that as well. I would hope to think, there were all these people here yesterday, and they go, and showmasters, you should know, people don't live in London. Not everybody lives in London. You can't come back the day after just because you decide to change the schedule on them. I wouldn't trust these people again. This is shocking.
Well, 100 times £275, quite a haul, isn't it?
He says, yeah. What were you saying, Ian?
It matched his ratings, didn't it? If 100 turned up.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's a minority that watches the show. So yes, it does. It's the equivalent, and then other people who would have liked to have gone, who of that particular fan base, which is very small, as we know, wouldn't have been able to get there. But the point is, those that like that part of the show were disserviced, and that annoys me, because a fan is a fan, no matter what version of this show you like. You don't treat people like that by setting up this convention, doing all the publicity. Did look, we've got Shooty Gatwa'S, this first one, blah 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 blah, and then you let them down. I think that's shocking.
But I mean, you mentioned Longleat, didn't you? I mean, Longleat was chaotic as well, wasn't it? The BBC, as usual, totally underestimated everything. But when we left on it was Sunday and Monday, wasn't it? Easter Sunday and Monday. When we left on the Monday to start our journey back, it was about 3:30ish in the afternoon or something like that, and there were people still streaming in. And
that's where they learned, because don't forget that was 1983, and it was the first thing they'd ever done. So that's where they learned, this thing is actually huge with the British public, which they forgot that week. Let's face it. A couple of years later, they axed the bloody thing, but or tried to. But this is the modern day, and these people are supposed to be doing these things all the time. And they can see, because you now have to pre-order your ticket and pay for whichever package you want weeks in advance. They can see how many people are coming. You should be keeping your artist up to date, either through their agent or directly, to say, no, you can't finish early because you've made a commitment. And if an artist is turning around, in my opinion, to say, hang on a second, I'm going to have to leave early, I would turn around and say, well, you can't. You can't, because you've got these people here and these are your fans. I would be quite cheeky and tell them that and say, I'm not impressed by this, but that's just me. Oh, lots of comments coming through here, as you can see. Idiots pay that sort of money. That is pretty sad. It is a shame. And Hugh Janus is saying to us here, milking fans shamelessly. A rip-off, you might say, says John. Yeah, Pertwee would love it though, because he would charge us all, and he would make it because he was good with his money. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, it would be worth every damn penny as well. I'd quite happy.
Exactly. I'd have paid to see Pertwee, no problem at all. Yeah.
We were lucky that we didn't have to. If these actors are so on point, they shouldn't be charging these amounts of money with a cost of living crisis, says Stephen Braddock. Yeah, but they'll talk about that. But they're all millionaires.
Yeah,
they're all millionaires, aren't they? So they're out of touch. Again, we're looking at the hypocrisy there.
Ask Shooty Museum how much is a pint of milk and see what he says. That's always a good.
I would test that.
That's the thing with lefties, though, isn't it? They always eventually run out of things to do with other people's money.
Yeah, but in answer to your point there, Paul, what's a pint of milk?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
We don't even do pints of milk in our country now because it's all pounds, shillings, and pence now, isn't it? I mean, God knows what is it? 5 litres or something stupid?
Something like that. Yeah. I buy mine in the jugs. You see, that's what I get with it.
Exactly. Yeah. Hello, Golden Age Geek. Sorry, I'm late. I've just finished a rewatch of State of Decay. Classic.
Good story.
Good story. We're just talking about Golden Age Geek. We're just talking about Gatwa'S appearance, Shooty Gatwa'S appearance at the London ComicCon Winter. In London this very weekend. He was there yesterday and today, and it was an almighty shambles. Considering that people could, and they would have been paying, some of them would have been paying for the Diamond Pass of £275. Absolutely ridiculous way to treat these people, these fans, and shame on you all, including the actors. I would say, get your acts together.
I hope that line there is true, but we'll wait and see.
Yeah, just to point, if you're listening, Marine Boy 1966 is joining us and said Gatwa'S getting as much as he can because within a year he's out on his arse. Well, how many people would now be put off for going to these things? How many people would be saying, no, I'm not going to go when he does it again?
I mean, to be fair though, as well, it's not a good experience for the actors either if it makes them look bad. Or worse even, I don't know the best way of putting that, in terms of the organisation, because they've come to a convention for the first time, or this is not really a convention, but an event like this. And if it puts them off, they might not come to another one. But it might make them reduce their prices, perhaps, who knows?
Yeah. I don't know. Hi, Bedouin is here with us. Hello, Bedouin. Anyone know how much the entry was in the first place? No, I can't remember. We did report it on the last show, but I can't remember what it was. And Andy Gladhill models. Apparently, Julie Gardner has come out and said Disney numbers are great. That wasn't this week. We reported that on this very show a couple of months ago. Yeah. Some of these media people, good evening to them. They watch us and get their headlines and regurgitate it a couple of weeks later. So that's the thing. Good evening to all of you that are watching it. But anyway, that's that there. It is great to see a lot of you in the chat this evening. Lovely. Welcome to everybody. We're going to move on now to our next one because, if you were there and you paid for that, you have my condolences. You really, really do. And as I say, goodness me, I would say to you, think about what you're doing next time. Try and save your money. There are more important things in life than somebody's scroll. However, mine's available now for £275 if you want to. At whosviews1@gmail.com. There you go. JT, nice and easy. Won't take me 10 minutes to do 150 of them. There you go. All right, then. So we're moving on now, guys. After that one, yes, we're moving on now to Mr. Stephen Moffat, because he's been in the news this week, hasn't he? Yes, Moffat is back, and the RadioTimes.com has been chatting to him, allegedly. I'm not too sure if it was fresh or what have you, but he's been talking about this. Doctor Who's Stephen Moffat confirms Christmas special plot details, including time-traveling hotel. Moffat teased some info about the up-and-coming Joy to the World episode.
I think plot stretching it a bit, isn't it? The word plot in that article. Yeah.
Oh, goodness me. Well, yeah. Well, this was the weekend, of course, when it's all kicked off when it comes to this. And look at this from RadioTimes.com. Now that we're in the throes of November, our attention can now firmly turn to Christmas and the up-and-coming Doctor Who special that is set to grace our screens.
Wallace and Gromit is going to grace our screens.
Yeah,
Let's
they're
do
going to
that.
soil our scenes, aren't they, with the Doctor?
Yeah, they
Christmas
really
special,
are.
I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, this is just anyway. It continues. The exciting new episode will air on Christmas Day itself, and will reunite fans with Ncuti Gatwa's 15th Doctor, yippee, and introduce them to Nicola Coughlan's new character of Joy. Fans have already been treated to a glimpse of the special and a first look image of the episode, which has been written by former Doctor Who showrunner Stephen Moffat. But now Moffat has teased some further details about what's to come in this new episode. Speaking to BBC South East News, Moffat revealed, ta-da, I can tease something about the Christmas special. Imagine in the far, far future, imagine that a hotel chain got hold of the idea of time travel. What's the first thing a hotel chain would do if they had time travel? They'd realize they had an opportunity to sell all the unsold nights in their own hotels in history. Now, the reason I'm laughing, because I just think that's insanely funny. It's insanely funny, you know. Yeah, just that Moffat's put that together and just thought, oh yeah, they would do that. I just think it's funny. I don't know about you guys, but
I think it's a silly idea. It might be fun, who knows? But Ncuti's in it though. So
it's one of those things that you think you can possibly get away with this on Christmas Day. You know, a hotel that's discovered the secret of time travel, so therefore goes back and fills its rooms in the past. The mind boggles for science fiction fans, because I'm thinking, how exactly would that work? And they thought, oh, sod it, nobody cares. It's just Doctor Who. Anyway, it carries on. Speaking about how his involvement on the Christmas special even came about, Moffat admitted he was approached by showrunner Russell T Davies, who was struggling to complete the Christmas script in light of an up-and-coming second season. Oh, yes. Moffat explained, the truth is, I absolutely love doing Doctor Who Christmas because I'm a big fan of Christmas. I absolutely adore Christmas. Then the email came through saying, Stephen, I need to get into series 2. I'm never going to finish this Christmas script. Could you come in and write one? Not complete his, i.e. Davis's script, just come in and do another one from scratch. As of now, that's as much detail as we're getting on Joy to the World, but we're sure more will be teased the closer we get to the big day itself, says Radio Times. Coughlan herself has called her character Joy a determined woman whose life is changed forever when she meets the Doctor, so it's safe to say that fans are excited to see how she'll slot into things. Yeah, really.
Yeah, we're very excited, yeah.
Now, guys, the rest of this we've had so many times. Moffat has previously referred to Coughlan's performance in the episode as heartbreaking, and knowing just how dark some of Moffat's previous Doctor Who episodes have been in the past, we're braced for quite the roller coaster. This isn't the first teaser we've gotten about the Christmas episode, with Davison speaking a behind-the-scenes video on the Tube of Who for Empire of Death, saying now the Doctor voyages forward, and guess what always happens to the Doctor every so often? Christmas, here comes Christmas. Blah, 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 blah. So, yeah, so this is the start of them, as we're getting closer to December, ramping up awareness of this thing, isn't it? And I'm asking you, does anybody care?
Not really. You know, I mean, it doesn't excite me at all, really. You know, I'd rather be watching Wallace and Gromit, which I'm looking forward to much more than this.
I don't feel very enthused, to be quite honest. I think I've had all the enthusiasm battered out of me over the last 6 or 7 years. So it's just something that's on. The main reason, if anything, that I'm looking forward to it is, and I use that term carefully, is that we're going to be meeting and reviewing it afterwards. That's the highlight of it.
Right.
Yeah. You're right. Yeah, we will be back here on the channel to review Joy to the World. We'll tell you more about that in December, but we'll be doing that. TARDIS Travels is saying hi all to us. Paul Rose is saying it's a potentially fun idea, but with the current team, it won't be. Yeah. And Robert Payne is like us. I'll be watching the Christmas episode for research purposes only.
The thing about this as well is, I know they've done it before, but they keep bringing in another character at Christmas and they drop the companion. They've done that quite a lot. And I'd rather see more of Millie than Coughlan. You know what I mean? It's like,
well, tough booby doos, because she's not in it.
I know, but it's such a waste of a character with 8 episodes, and she carried most of them herself, and we've seen a really good side of Millie's acting, but nice to have her in the Christmas special as well, you know. But it might make it better, you know. But
right, lots of people talking about this now as well. Stephen Dalek I saying to us there, Wallace and Gromit for the Doctor and Companion. Stephen Braddock is saying to us, how come the T-Rex in the trailer looks worse than the one in Deep Breath from years back? We're going to be talking about the trailer in a minute. Yep. Captain Bullsack saying to us, I think that could be a great idea for a Christmas special. It makes me laugh because it's a very Moffat idea, the whole setup, the whole idea there. But again, it's going to be into the execution of it, isn't it? And how it's presented and how it's played. I have to say that it's not a trailer. It was a scene. It was part of a scene. Yeah. Yes, it's not a trailer at all. The trailer's still to come. But that scene they showed on Friday night about Children in Need, which we're going to come to, that didn't inspire me at all from what I watched on that. In fact, it's not really in the memory. Andy Gladhill is saying to us, there's a dinosaur in it, an excuse for expensive CGI. And Paul Stenterford, the Doctor Who Christmas special sounds like an awful fan fiction, which of course it is. I wish they'd stop calling the blooming thing Christmas special. There's nothing special about it. It's just a normal episode, but it just happens to be put on at Christmas. You know, I can't stand it all. Cara, hello to Cara. I don't know. I go away for a week and the world goes to hell in a handbasket. Does it? Okay. And Killbot Kill. Milliways, hotels and restaurants. Motorway hotels and restaurants, maybe.
And is that a reference to Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy a little bit, isn't it? Or not?
I think it is, isn't it, Milliways?
Is it Milliways? I can't remember. It's been a long time since I watched that. And it's going to be awful, and we all know it's this problem being. Noodle Arms.
Yeah, who was trying to kid? Yeah.
The Doctor Who Christmas special will be rubbish. It sounds like the Angels take Manhattan, but with a rubbish script and a dinosaur. I think the dinosaur's only in it for like 2 seconds, by the way. I don't think it's the big main.
I bet that's all we're getting. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
What else are we saying here? There's an exciting episode on Christmas Day, so there are 2 episodes. I mean, it's not even that special now because it's only an hour, isn't it? And that's how long the usual show is. You know, I mean, they changed it, so you know, because when they started back, the show was on for 45 minutes, and then an hour was, you've got an extra few minutes there, so they can get away with it.
Occasionally they stretch it a longer to know. I think the Voyage of the Dam was around 15 or something, but an hour is plenty. Thank you very much.
Voyage of the Dam Voyage of the Damned also had the added benefit of having a certain Kylie Minogue in it.
Exactly.
You know, and that was the big selling point for that, and that's why it got over 13 million viewers in the UK. You know, because she was in it, because the Kylie fans came. Did they stay for the series? No. Although Series 4 was popular, it was back at its usual level, around about, you know. I don't care. I won't be watching, says Andy Gladhill. And Dalek Eye, same old claptrap, epic roller coaster, blah, blah, blah. You can actually quote these people now, can't you? Because you know what they're going to say.
Yeah.
You know, you'd think they would come up with something a little bit more interesting now, because as fans, we know what you've said before.
I wish they would be honest and go, it's a little old crap like last year or something like that. That'd be fine, you know.
But I mean, you just look at the scripts that they write, and they're very derivative and samey. So why are we surprised? Really, it's the same words because they're talking about the same concepts, just with a few different bells and whistles.
I know. I hope here that Cara's talking about the subject and not us three, because Cara thinks, God, this sounds
Cara needs to clarify, doesn't she?
And Julianne seems disappointed as well, because she says, you mean the clip isn't the final scene where they get eaten by a dinosaur? How very disappointing.
Spoilers.
Well, yeah, spoilers indeed, but we are going to be talking about it in a minute, so get ready. Woodhouse 122, don't care about current Disney Who anymore, and the hotel theme sounds lame. Straight to the point, Woodhouse 122. Thank you, Rory. That's wonderful. And Stephen's also saying to us here, I'm looking forward to your review more than the episode.
Yeah, so are we. Yeah.
Oh, brilliant, brilliant. What's this from Matt, the Silent Wee Music King? I complained to the BBC today. My videos showing my art for Cochran did come out after Joy was created, but I made the design before Joy was released. Oh, so the BBC are finally getting around to social media now, are they? I've warned people about that before. They are clamping down. They are going to be clamping down with people, and they are watching everything. Or if they haven't got round to you yet, they will do soon. And I think it's going to be very selected. Anyway, hello to Raymond. Nice to see you, Raymond Williams. Are they the only 2 Doctor Who writers that are allowed to write for the show now? It's like a boys' club with just 2 members, and both have run out of ideas. That's a great point.
Some years ago as well.
Yeah.
It's a good point, that, Raymond. So thank you for making that. It's a good topic for discussion, that one as well. They're still very much the pinnacle of this reboot, aren't they? And nobody else is getting a chance, you know. And it's
and we've touched on it before, haven't we? When you look back at the first up to Capaldi, because it died a death after that. But you look at the best, most memorable episodes, and they weren't written by Moffat, and they weren't written by, I mean, apart from Blink, and they certainly weren't written by RTD. You know,
yeah, just look at the first season in particular, excellent first season.
Yeah,
the ones that Russell wrote aren't that great, you know.
No.
Yeah, the Lady Knightsbridge is joining with us as well, because Bedway is saying to us first there, wouldn't the patrons need time travel rather than the hotel? That's immediately what I thought. So we'll see how that plays out in the episode, because I just thought, hang on a minute, surely it should be the staff time traveling and taking their, yeah, I'm getting too much into it and I shouldn't really, because I don't really care that much. And the Lady Knightsbridge is with us. It's lovely to see you, darling. I imagine a lot of those who went to the London ComicCon could discover time travel because they wouldn't have gone and saved their money. I do hope, Lady Knightsbridge, that they're all claiming their money back if they didn't get the service they paid for yesterday.
Yeah.
I really do. And I hope they're ready to pay it back quickly and efficiently within a week. Because you know what these things are like when it comes to bureaucracy of paying people back for something. Oh, we've got to do this, we've got to do that, and they don't like it, do they? But they have to do it. So if you were there and you didn't get the service you required yesterday or today, get in touch with them now and get your money back. That's what I would say. Russ Morgan, an hour is 59 minutes too long. Ooh, you're going to love our Christmas one, I tell you. And we've also got here from Enspiel, the best part of the Christmas special will be the reviews on Who's Views. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We will do our best. Yeah. We have got a big December coming up for you, I tell you. I'm fed up with one-off companions, says Stephen Braddock, who will break your heart.
Yeah, if you can get invested in them, yeah. Because I mean, as much as Kylie was really good, I didn't care that she got killed at the end of Void to Damn. Spoiler coming up there, sorry.
Because they wouldn't have been able to retain her.
Well, yeah, exactly. But you didn't have enough time to grow to love her as a companion, you know.
No, you didn't.
Yeah.
But this is the problem with one-off companions, because the Doctor gets to know them and sort of gets to like them because he's been working with them, for want of a better word, for an hour, you know. And then they'll think, and then if the door of the TARDIS does creak open, you know something's got to happen to them because they're not coming back in the next series. We know we've got a new series. I mean, this is the same pattern as it happened in RTD 1, wasn't it? You know, it's exactly the same template, except it's woker and it's more extreme left-wing ideological. It's just daft. So what's going to happen to this one? Is she going to fall down a ravine, or is she just going to say, "Oh, I can't do that. You're a terrible person. You frightened me." You know, all this sort of stuff. What's going to happen to this one? Does she get possibly zapped off into time and space? Does she find time travel herself? Does she take on the hotel? I'm bagging that one. I reckon she stays in the hotel and zips around the universe in it. I tell you.
Probably cops off with a Silurian and starts another subspecies.
Don't.
That comes later, doesn't it? I think in the show. Yeah.
Captain Borsak is telling us I have the X-Men Specials box set, so we'll probably pick one or two of those as well. Well, yeah, good for you. Oh, good for you. Yeah, watch them. Some of them were watchable, I have to say.
Some of them, yeah.
Off the top of my head, though, I can't remember which. Oh, the one with the alien style thing with Capaldi.
Oh, the Last Christmas, yeah. That was.
I wonder why George Michael had come to my head then, actually.
I quite like the first one that was a novelty. Christmas Invasion was quite good, but that's because it was a novelty, you know, at that point.
Yeah. I can watch that one as well. I can watch that one. I must admit, that was a good one. But yeah, it's great to see you all. Oh, we've got several Pauls with us now. I am up to, including Paul, birthday boy himself, I'm up to 4 on the Paulometer. So that's great. So thank you very much, everybody.
Let's see if we get to double figures before the show's over. That'd be
great. Oh, bless you. Robert Payne, how would the hotel get the people to return rather than run amok in the past fiddling with stuff? Well, we'll find out when we watch the thing, wouldn't it? We will find out.
Those bits will be cut out, though, on the BBC, so that'll be fine. But,
yeah. So, yeah, I mean... Paul Richards, this new Who is a bad parody. You're not going to get any argument with me on that one, mate. Oh, and here's another Paul. Paul Baker's with us as well. 5 on the Paulometer.
My God, they're everywhere.
They are. It's an outrage. The whole thing about this, as I say, is it did ramp up this weekend with a trailer. It wasn't a trailer, everybody. These people that were saying, oh, it's a trailer, including these people that put this out, it wasn't a trailer. It was a part of a scene. And the only new thing about it was this part of it, which was where Ncuti Gatwa, who's busy, of course, in London, as we know, rehearsing for his new play, The Importance of Being Earnest, or The Importance of Being an Earnest Handbag, whichever one you want. He did a pre-recorded, obviously months ago, introduction to this thing for children in need, which shows some planning, I guess.
That outfit he's wearing, we've seen that before, haven't we, in one advertising campaign he did this year? He did that outfit on before.
Yes, he had that on for at the beginning of the year for the Vanity Fair interview that he did at the beginning of the year.
So that makes Colin Baker's costume look good, that outfit, I have to say, really.
Well, this doctor is obviously a huge fan of the Bay City Rollers.
Obviously, yes. Yeah.
If you don't know who those are, you've never
Google
them. Classic rock. Anyway, so that brilliant stuff from the Bay City Rollers. If you don't know who they are, oh look, another one. That's 6 now on the polometer. This is getting ridiculous. I'm gonna have to stop all this. But yes, thank you to Paul Thomas Ashworth.
Like rabbits, aren't we? Really, to be honest, that's like. Yeah.
Thank you so much for your super chat as well, Paul. Another Paul on the polometer. This reminds me of years ago when I was younger and in the clubs I had a pullometer, Pull-ometer. It was in its high tens.
We won't ask the numbers that went up to, GT. We'll keep that to ourselves.
It was the 90s. It was huge.
Okay.
Anyway, that's been saved for the book. Yeah, so here we are. This is Robert Payne is saying, look at all your chat. Thank you so much, everybody. Ncuti trying hard to prove he's Scottish. And Chris Graham, hiya, Chris. I think they know it's cancelled after season 2 now. Do you? Oh, that's a good... Ooh, we will soon know, won't we? Julianne is saying to us, my 6-year-old niece has a jacket like that, the Bay City Rollers, LOL. What do you mean, LOL? But yes, so this was him. He put this together. It was pretty standard stuff, really, as an introduction went, wasn't it? And it just proved to me that nobody can do an introduction like Tom Baker. You know, he would have made it magical. But this is Ncuti being Ncuti, going, I'm Ncuti Gatwa. If it had been Tom, he wouldn't have said anything about I'm Tom Baker. He would have been, hello, I'm the doctor. You know, and I don't understand why they're not doing it in character anymore, these people. It would have been more fun for children in need, surely.
Like when he did Disney Time, which was superb, or when he did that season 17 trailer, Don't Wake Me Before September, all that stuff.
Which we love, don't we, here on our channel? We love that.
Superb, yeah.
But anyway, we moved on. And then, of course, everybody, as I'm sure you've seen it now, as part of this, it went on to Children in Need first. And then immediately after, it dropped onto their social media platforms. That's how I got to see it, because there's no way I was watching Children in Need or the BBC, obviously. So, yeah, let's look at it, because, I don't know. This is the scene. So we've got this scene here. Now, I don't know if it's the quality of the filming. You guys who are experts in the chat will know about this, but this looks cheap to me. And I'm sure it isn't that cheap. But it also reminded me of the scene in Fantastic Beasts where there's a whole world inside the briefcase, you know. And I just thought, that must be lifted from, ironically, a J.K. Rowling story. Ha, ha, ha.
It just looks really, really badly lit, doesn't it? And it just looks really flat, don't you think?
Yeah. Yes, it does. Go on, Ian.
No, it does. I was just agreeing with what Paul was saying. It does look very, very flat and, not very inspiring at all.
No.
Or interesting.
Well, this is the thing. I mean, we're taking it out of context. Of course we are. Just go back to the chat, guys, just for a minute. JT, our ranks are growing as more of us arrive from the outer rim, ready for invasion. Not long now until your Paul gives us the secret signal. Ha, ha, ha.
Yes, like that film Paul with the alien. Then that Simon Pegg movie Paul's an alien in that. That's flagged up about that. Yeah,
that's very, very true. Yeah. But yes, so I don't know what you guys in the chat thought about this. You are going to tell us, you are beginning to tell us. So thank you very much. But I just thought this looked a bit cheap. Is it because how are they filming it now? Does anybody know?
Well, it looks like it's not been treated. Normally they do it. It looks like they've done it on video, then they treat it to make it look like film. And this looks like it's untreated. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do know what you mean, because it doesn't look, considering that this is all supposed to be HD and it's supposed to be all 4K and all whatever this stuff now is. I am so out the loop, I don't know. But to me, this does look like a set. It looks flat, as you're saying there,
Yeah.
but the lighting doesn't look right. The detail doesn't look as quality as it used to do. I don't know. That set looks cheap as hell, says Domgo. And Lee Smith is asking, is it green screen? That is not green screen. That's an actual set. And that's the sort of thing they would put, if it was still around, in the experience.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, you absolutely would. Why are they using a pea-coloured filter? The problem being. And Robert Payne's reminding us it looks like something from Ain't Half Art Mum.
That's a good point. Yeah, so it does. Yeah,
it does,
more
doesn't
realistic.
it? Yeah. Well, it carries on, and then we get the shots. Of course, this is Ncuti Gatwa's doctor looking at this briefcase thing here. Nicola Coughlan's there as well. Yeah. Let's carry on. This is him doing his serious face.
He just has one expression, doesn't he?
Is that more than Whittaker or less?
Probably on a par, really.
No, I think less, to be honest.
Whittaker just looked like she kept pulling those gurning faces. She looked like she had Bell's palsy or something.
Yeah. Enspiel is saying to us, it looks a bit like they've dusted off the Face of Evil set. That was a good set as well, that one. But it does. It looks the same sort of quality. You know, not the. What am I trying to say? Not in the workmanship, but the way it's been filmed. I mean, this is supposed to be really good glossy filming. You know, what are they using? I don't know. You know, because this is Lee Smith. This is asking now LED screens. It's not LED screens. It's an actual set. It's a real set built by talented people, designed by talented people. So I don't understand it. I don't understand it. Bill Lowry saying to us, it looks like a stage play, guys.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
They don't have the money, is it, at the minute?
But it was filmed with season 1. So yes, they did. They did. We've got to remember, it was all filmed as part of season 1.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That set was last used in the Crystal Maze. You're very naughty, Domgo.
I can see that. Yeah.
John Cartwright is also saying, hey, to be equal, can we have an I'm not Paul list? Okay, I'll shut up. Very wise. Problem being, says, it's Tenko. Not a chance. What a series that was. Whoa, we all love that one, don't we? And Golden Age Geek is saying to me here, I don't think the scene will look like that on broadcast. The trailer for season 1 has the same problem. Terrible contrasting. The episodes themselves look completely different. Well, that's good to know, Golden Age Geek. Thank you. You know what I'm trying to say there. So we will be looking at that, of course, I will certainly be looking at that when we see it on the tally and stuff like that. So we'll talk about that in our review.
I have to say, those little clips was very lackluster. It doesn't inspire you. I mean, if they should have done a trailer instead to make it more exciting. It just looks really lame, don't you think? Very weak.
I think it's because they think there's this whole thing about children in need, isn't it? Oh, it's got to have some Doctor Who connection now. It's also got to have something that will get the fans to dip into their wallets. I mean, Children in Need isn't getting the viewing figures it did. And the British public are not supporting it in the way they did. A lot of people are now going to local charities for children, aren't they? Because they've sprung up all over the UK. At great timing. It's as though they suddenly realised, oh, the BBC is not doing that well now. We'll just do these. So all over the United Kingdom, in the various regions and counties of the UK, there are children's charities which deal with local needs, which is fantastic. There's also been as well, he says, getting slightly political again for a minute. There's also this whole fuss now about allegedly the chair of the charity Children in Need is on something like £65,000 a year or something like that.
Yeah.
I'd heard it was 135, but I'd also read.
Really?
Yeah, I'd also read that. I mean, you compare this with that big thing about Paddy McGuinness, and he did that cycle ride, didn't he? And did he raise £8.8 million or something like that? Great effort, fantastic. I hope he had a padded bike seat because he's not going to be walking right for a few days, is he? No. But apparently, allegedly, the staff of Children in Need, their annual salary bill is £6.5 million. So 6.5 million allegedly. So if that's true, then you take that out of what McGuinness raised, and it's not that much, is it? That actually goes to the areas that it's needed. It's quite shocking, really.
This is how charity has to run now, because fees are so much, but I always looked at things. So, why don't you keep your costs down by not having as many staff? Why can't they? Why do you have to treat yourself as a big organization when you're not? You're there to make the money.
Yeah.
See, this is what happens with the local ones, as far as I'm aware, because they are smaller, usually run by some local community group, some of whom don't take money for themselves because it's all done voluntarily. So good for them. And let's big up them and celebrate them. Whereas these bigger ones now are getting more and more. I mean, you know, allegedly as well, that other one, Comic Relief, which is a worldwide thing, expenditures are huge, allegedly. You know, their outgoings are massive, and that all comes from the donations given to people from people.
Well, that's the thing as well. I mean, the people on the show, like Mel Giedroyc and what's his name, who was in Empire of Death, I forgot his name, the guy on the Segway, they're all being paid a fee as well, aren't they? They're not volunteering their services to be on there for charity. They get paid a fee. So
yeah, that's right. JFO, you've been on screen for a while. Thank you so much for your comment. Shooty and Jody are exactly the same. They read the lines like they've learned them 5 minutes before. Not any spin of lines or invention of the words. It's basic line learning. And, you know, I don't think they're alone in that. So I think their generation do that, to be honest. Like, you do see a difference between the actors that I grew up with, God love them all, my generation, and then this one that's come up, you know, and you know, it's all based on, well, I don't know what it's based on, but it's certainly not training.
As I said before, though, it's all done instinctively now because they don't tend to rehearse it. They learn it, and then they do it, and they rehearse the scene, and then record it. That's all they get. When our doctors were doing it, they had a week's rehearsal for an episode. You know what I mean? So they had a proper time to actually create a character, a backstory, etc., and perform the dialogue properly. You know.
And as Doctor Who fans, we can see that in practice on that lovely Who's Doctor Who documentary from the 70s.
Yeah.
So we can see it there because you can actually see the talents of Wayne Chiang in rehearsal, and Tom putting all the passion into it. The director putting all the passion. I know a lot of that was staged for camera, but you can actually see that a lot of that would have been done okay. Chris Graham, is Anita Dobson the White Guardian? I wouldn't put it past her.
No, she'll be the Guardian of Chaos, won't she?
The Guardian of Chaos. Yeah. Oh, well, that's the Black Guardian. We're not allowed with the White Guardian. If he's asking if it is Anita Dobson the White Guardian, it'll be the Guardian of Light or the Guardian of all fluffy happiness and unicorns or something like that, won't it? Now, John Mason is saying to us, remember the barn in the 50th anniversary special? This isn't a patch on that. And yet it has the same sort of feeling, doesn't it? I don't know. Sadeko24 is joining us. Hello. And hello to Noel Thrussell, who's also joined us. Nice to see you all. Good to see you. Leah is saying to us, it does need an exciting trailer. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they're going to do something for Christmas, but the fact with Christmases on the BBC, Leah, as you'll probably be aware, is it will get lost with all the other stuff. And the big one is Wallace and Gromit.
Yeah.
You know, and because not many people are watching the BBC these days as well, it's not as exciting as it used to be. And if they get their marketing wrong, as they can tend to do these days as well, you know, the rebrand that they do on the BBC for Christmas as well, which as kids for us in the 70s and 80s was iconic. It was iconic. Yeah. If you're outside the UK, you can actually go on the Tube of Who and you can actually see some of them. And they are gorgeous. But as the 90s grow on, they become lamer and more commercial, brand. And the magic disappears, you know? It's a shame, really, isn't it? It really isn't. Oh, Paul Stanterford. The lesson here is don't shoot on digital. Light looks flat on digital. A lot of filmmakers shoot on film and run it through a digital processor. Oh, thank you. And Golden Age Geek says, by the way, I don't know if any of you realized, but I did. The official Disney Plus YouTube channel removed the trailer for season 1 after it got more dislikes than likes.
Wonderful.
That doesn't surprise me.
It doesn't surprise me. It doesn't. I'm going to agree with this from Woodhouse. Thanks for that, Golden Age. Woodhouse 122. Children in Need wasn't the same after Terry Wogan died. It really wasn't.
Yeah,
never. You know, so I saw something on the Children in Need Facebook thing when it came up, where some disgruntled member of the British public had gone on and said, Terry Wogan used to present this show overnight with him by himself. Why does this show now need 7 or 8 presenters to do something in half the time? Well, it's all DEI, isn't
Well,
it?
it's no longer a marathon, is it? It finished at 10 o'clock, I think.
Yeah.
And it's not even a half marathon, is it, to be honest?
Yeah, because when we were kids, just to let you know, if you've never seen this thing, this used to start at 7 o'clock on the Friday, and it would finish on Saturday morning, 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock. Yeah. And they showed all these fabulous things, including things like the 5 Doctors, all these through here. And the British public got behind it, and the viewing figures for it were huge. Yeah, they were huge. People would watch this thing, and there would be specials of different shows and comedy sketches and what we would call celebrities of the day popping in to see Terry and Anarchy, as BBC Live Television used to do. It was controlled anarchy, but it was anarchy. Yeah. And Terry Wogan, the late great Terry Wogan, would anchor this thing for the entire night with possibly 2 changes of outfit.
Yeah,
all suited and booted.
What is interesting, I don't know if you saw the clip afterwards auctioning off the pieces for charity, but that was painfully awkward. The lines and the timing, just embarrassing stuff.
Who was doing that?
It was Mel Gedroych and the guy on the Segway, I forgot his name, and a comedian whose name I've forgotten as well. But they're all just really, really awkward and badly timed and just embarrassing kind of presentation. Really not great.
Tardis Travels is saying £135,000. What was that for?
That's the CEO's wages, isn't it? Yeah.
Oh, was it? Oh, that's more than I heard on the rumor. Mark Greaves, look how many presenters they have. Ridiculous, including Morris from Unit. Now, Paul, you were saying something about that lad, weren't you?
Yeah, he was on it because he was doing the links with Mel for the Doctor Who section. So he did the bits before the clip was shown. So and afterwards.
Didn't you? Somebody was telling me was it Bedouin? Bedouin was saying they've turned him nasty or something. He was trying to be nasty.
I don't remember that. If he was playing nasty, it didn't come across to me. But
I think Bedouin was telling me that they got him to be the cheeky one, or they were trying to get him to be the cheeky one.
I suppose he was. Yeah.
And it didn't come across because he couldn't play it.
It was reinforced.
He was trying to play bitchy. You've got to be you've got to be certain type to be able to be bitchy to somebody else. I'll train you. £200 an hour. Yes, that's cheap. But I'll train you how to do that. Oh God, the Talons of Wayne Chiang, one of my favorites, and even it made me feel sorry for the villain, says Cara Hughes. Really? And Stephen Braddock says with Anita Dobson, she's rumored to be the guardian of order. Apparently, really. Okay. Hello to Daryl. Daryl Joyce is with us. Rehearse Record has not done actors any favours. Between that and fixing it in the edit, the quality of drama has diminished very noticeably. Absolutely.
We'll do it in post. That's what they say. Yeah. So
I know. Yeah. Why? And it's all nonsense because it's going to cost more, isn't it? Yeah. Absolutely going to cost more on that. But it's nice to see you, Daryl. Thank you. And Paul Stanford saying to us, I won't be watching the Doctor Who Christmas special. Instead, I'll watch a repeat of Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. Oh, I love that film. I love that film. Oh, yes. Very, very good. So, we've got a lot going on there. Derek is joining us. Hello, Derek. Good evening, everyone. Wonder how busy London Film Wintercon was. How busy was Gatwa? Ridiculous prices and all this sort of stuff. Yeah, just so you know, Derek, you've obviously just joined us, but we've talked about that at the very top of the show. So after the show, you'll have to go back and watch it all. Because we've talked about all that. But welcome. It's good to see you. Thanks for joining us. Back to the trailer. This is the set again, with obviously some CGI there. And also part of me thinks there's some plastic flowering going on here as well. Some plastic plants.
Yeah. But this looks really cheap, doesn't it? Even cheaper than the last shot. That's incredible.
Yeah, and I'm hoping Golden Age Geek is right. We will talk about the quality of it, because if I think it still looks cheap, Golden Age, I'll say so in our review. But if I think it looks like it's been upgraded, I'll remember to say that. But here we go. And then of course the one that's here's Nicola McLaughlin again here. Look at her, bless her. Didn't have an impact this role for me in this scene. In fact, nothing really had an impact. Even the thing that they're all shouting about, which was this.
Yeah,
big deal. Big deal.
It's funny because I think it looks cheaper than the one they did in Deep Breath, which was 10 years ago. It was, So.
Yes, and that's exactly what was it. Well, somebody said in the chat earlier, wasn't it? That this is, but there it is. There it's done again. But
I still find it depressing that fantastic stories like Invasion of the Dinosaurs with the absolute god that was Pertwee. I know I'm biased. Had to have those cheap things, and yet this, which is absolute dire and a dire doctor and a dire set of producers and everything, get to have something like that, even though it's not the best. It's still something that, can you imagine what Invasion of the Dinosaurs would have looked like if it had been able to access that degree of technology? It would have been amazing.
When the Blu-ray set comes out in a couple of years' time, we'll get that. Hopefully, that'll be nice. Yeah.
They've said they won't, but they have to, really. They've done it for everything else. They've just done it for the fabulous Blake 7 Blu-ray edition that's come out as well. That now has had the alternative. All the model shots there have been done on every one of the 13 episodes. So why not Doctor Who Invasion?
I'd be really annoyed that they've done 4 versions of bloody Silver Nemesis. They better do the dinosaurs. I'm really annoyed.
I know.
Right.
A lot of you saying it looks awful, including Rick Storm there. Domgo is saying to us they are so obviously not in the jungle. With Problem Being saying, it looks like the garden section at B&Q.
I thought I recognised it from somewhere.
Sometimes it's easier to go and film in something like they did with the Waters of Mars. And then there was a reason in the story why they were in this sort of tropical environment, which was actually a garden. Proper gardens, wasn't it? The botanical garden thing. Thank you for that, Lee. Randy Batswinger saying it looks like a Playmobil Tarzan set. And hello to Ron Sapp. People need to say MP.
NP.
MP. Does that mean no problem? I don't know. Sorry. Excuse my ignorance, but I don't do things like that. And then we've got Russ Morgan. Looks like I'm a celebrity. Get me out of here. Oh, Colin might be in there then.
Yeah.
You might just pop up and go, "Ooh, look, worms." We've got all that. Fabulous. Thank you. Face of Evil did a jungle in a studio, and it looked like a real jungle, says Bill Lowry.
Yeah.
And Planet of Evil as well.
Planet of Evil, yeah. And that hut looks like it's made of lollipop sticks, says Dalek Eye. On this one from Woodhouse 122, I hope not, because he says it looks like Star Wars Holiday Special vibes from that pic.
Oh yes, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Really? Oh no. Oh, and Lee Smith is saying that Biggins did the jungle sets better. Safari.
So goody.
Thank you. One of you remembered him and Gillian. I used to love on Safari kids program on ITV back in the day. It was hilarious though. Do you remember all those custard pie type things and all? Happy
the credits at the end showed how they put that set together, didn't they? It showed it taking apart bit by bit at the end.
That's right. Massive. Yeah, it was brilliant. Massive. It was a great show, and he was brilliant in it as well, wasn't he? Absolutely fantastic. But yes, so Safari, so goody. Happy days there. Happy days. So that was the Doctor Who clip, if you like, from Children in Need. Was it an anticlimax, everybody?
Yes.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I'd say it was. I mean, did it make an impact here in the United Kingdom?
Not with me.
No. Very underwhelming.
It was, wasn't it? Absolutely. I mean, but that's it. That's the start of it now, everybody. Yes, the Doctor Who Christmas special, Joy to the World, is on the way. We're going to be hearing more about that from this moment on, I would think, as Doctor Who fans. And of course, we'll be here to chat about it all as it starts making waves.
This is his 10th episode, isn't it? I think. Is it?
Yes.
Yeah. And he still made no impact of the Doctor for me at all.
No.
I know it's a tiny scene to give him the benefit of the doubt, but he's still not the Doctor at all.
No. Join us to see if all that changes when we review Joy to the World. We will be reminding you more about it as we go into December. Yep, we are also excited about it. But we will be here on the channel to talk about it over Christmas. Oh, I'm so excited. I'll tell you somebody else that might be excited about this new episode coming out. Well, it was a new hiring from Bad Wolf. Have you heard of this lady? This is Sita Thomas, and here she is photographed when she was a presenter on the Channel 5 children's show Milkshake. Well, since that, she's now left Channel 5's Milkshake, and she's become something called an intimacy coordinator. What the hell is that? Who knows? It does seem to me that people are raking in money from doing all sorts of things as part of all this diversity, inclusion, equity, all this nonsense stuff here. And of course, show business will lap it all up. And Bad Wolf has, because did you see this story? This has come from Fandom Pulse. Now, I'm going to actually admit this. This is quite an interesting one. Let's see what you all take on this one for Fandom Pulse, okay? Because this was a little bit different. So have a look at this. Bad Wolf hired an intimacy coordinator to work on the upcoming 2024 Doctor Who Christmas special, only in show business at the moment. How many businesses are going to be jumping on this bandwagon in the next year to say, oh, we need an intimacy coordinator within our gas board? For heaven's sake, here we go then. Fans are scratching their heads about what Russell T Davies and company are doing with the family programme Doctor Who, traditionally rated PG. As it's been revealed, they've hired an intimacy coordinator for season 2's episodes, implying the show will be heading to new degenerate depths. Doctor Who sunk to new lows in multiple ways with Russell T Davies' return to showrunner status. The production team consistently gave interviews claiming the show would be mired in identity politics, and they delivered on their promises, which caused audiences to tune out in record numbers. Dubbed Season 1 because of its new era with the gay black actor Ncuti Gatwa playing the Doctor, the show posted record low ratings. Doctor Who sucked to new lows in multiple ways, as it said there. And then it carries on. Ratings aside, the season 1 episodes were promised precisely what he delivered regarding over-the-top political messaging. RTD told Rolling Stone, if you're not writing that in 2024, what on earth are you doing? I think our rights are in danger. I'm talking as someone who's lived through gay liberation, all the way through the AIDS crisis, all the way through to the freedoms that we have now. I can see them spinning and being endangered, so there's no choice in this. And if the most exciting and entertaining action-adventure show on television, that's Doctor Who, everybody, can also do that, I think that's wonderful. Ncuti Gatwa famously told viewers to turn off the TV, i.e. touch grass, when they complained about the show's direction, and the fans listened. But Doctor Who's lowest moment was yet to come. In the episode Rogue, which sunk to the worst content depths as it featured the Doctor kissing another man. The entire episode was a homoerotic fantasy where they copied the setting from the hit TV show Bridgerton and made the homosexuals involved in a Regency romance where the Doctor went wildly out of character to ignore his companion's life in peril for the sake of this man. Now fans have discovered that Doctor Who has hired an intimacy coordinator, which implies that season 2 will include more degenerate content in the family programme. The X account at Doctor Who PN posted a professional resume page of Sita Thomas, who listed Bad Wolf as a job with the role of intimacy coordinator starting in April 2024. The account posted the image with the question, that's weird, since when does a family show like Doctor Who require an intimacy coordinator? Then followed up with a post of what appears to be Sita Thomas's webpage, which shows an image of Ncuti Gatwa as the Doctor with the caption, I worked with Sita on several scenes during a high-end television production in 2024. The show or nature of the work cannot be identified for contractual reasons. Sita proved herself a valuable member of my directorial team. So yes, this is the director of the Christmas special, by the way, whose name I forget. She brought a calm presence to the set, as well as a thorough knowledge of the script, both of which allowed her to put the actors at ease. She is a sensitive and thoughtful collaborator for any director. It was signed by Alex Palali, the director of the 2024 Christmas special, there you go, implying this intimacy coordination might even be a part of the holiday. With Doctor Who pushing evil LGBTQIA+ lifestyles, Russell T Davies and company are likely to want to put their fetishes on display even more in the coming season, especially amid rumours the show might not be picked up for a third season given its low ratings. This is their last gasp of unfettered degeneracy, making Doctor Who no longer the family-friendly programme it used to be. No holds barred there from Fandom Pulse. I actually wanted to share that with you because I found it quite refreshing.
Yeah.
Whoever wrote that, I like them.
I do kind of feel intimacy coordinator. What does that mean, really?
Yeah.
So I don't understand why you need someone like that to do something, because actors are used to working together in intimate situations, so that'd be something they should be used to, and the director should be able to work that around to make that work in the production. So why have you got another person doing this when they don't really need them at all? And why is intimacy an issue in Doctor Who? That's bizarre.
I have no idea. I've since looked at what an intimacy coordinator was. Now, I originally thought, guys, that an intimacy coordinator would be there to support staff, and it's just a fancy name. Apparently, there's a lot more to it than that, and it's so terribly boring. Because I just thought, here we are, something else made up, so that people can make money, basically.
But it suggests that there might be more sexual scenes or intimate scenes in Doctor Who, you know, that require someone to be there to support them, you know, like a therapist almost. You know what I mean? It's weird.
That's what the viewers need, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, we need some therapy. Yeah.
Therapy, yeah, because most of them are.
We can turn off.
Now.
It's fine. So
yeah.
And we will.
Mark Postcode is with us as well to say, look, to be fair, Christopher Eccleston has said he is very grateful for the introduction of intimacy coordinators as they protect the male performance from allegations from female performers. So it does benefit both. So it's a shame that they've got to that point in show business, one of the most poisonous industries in the world, that they're at that. They have to have these people coming along, isn't it, really?
But what extremes are they going to have sexual scenes in Doctor Who? You know, it's like, well, let's put it after 10 o'clock or whatever. You know, it's like, why they need an intimacy coordinator? Why are they having scenes like this when it's nothing to do with Doctor Who? You know?
It's worrying, isn't it? But, I mean, it's dead anyway, isn't it? But yeah, I mean, a sci-fi coordinator. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
exactly.
It needs a sci-fi coordinator for those of you listening. Go on, Ian.
Yeah, or a script editor or something like that. Absolutely. And
a writer would be good as well.
And no showrunner would be great, and a producer would be fantastic. But they're just doubling down on the crap that they've got, aren't they? Really.
Well, it shows you how
if Series 2 has been filmed. Sorry, JT, but if Series 2 has been filmed already and is in the can, this intimacy coordinator must have been here a year ago.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it just shows you how ideological they are as well. And are they terrified again of doing more? Have they hired this because they're acknowledging their mistakes of before about allowing Barrowman to have a laugh, allegedly, you know, or he went too far with that, or whatever it's going to be, you know? Not that I'm saying anything about that at the moment, but
I reckon that Rogue's back in it again for the second part.
You say that.
Yeah.
However, that hasn't been confirmed for season 2, and the actor has said he was doing other stuff, so we'll just have to wait to see.
Yeah, really. But they lie through their teeth, JT, don't they, all the time? They just lie all the time. They're worse than Pinocchio at Bad Wolf, aren't they? Let's be honest.
Mark is also saying to us, mind you, why Doctor Who needs an intimacy coordinator is another question, as I'm implying there as well. Yeah, I mean, come on. Are they that concerned in this industry now, in the show business industry? And if so, why has BBC Studios not hired one for things like, I don't know, Strictly Come Dancing, allegedly?
Joe, fix it.
Yeah. I mean, come on. I mean, this is ridiculous. What a load of bollocks, says Domgo. Is this Doctor Who or it's a sin, says Paul Richards? Good question, because they treat it like something totally different, don't they? Mark Greaves is saying, what a brilliant article. And John Mason, this sounds like a sane publication. It's a nice, honest statement for a change, says Garbage. And Tony Farrell is saying, no, I'm totally with John Pertwee on this one. The Doctor is asexual, no hanky-panky in the TARDIS, as JNT used to say. Yeah. Well, we're all like that on this show. We don't like it at all. Just absolutely ridiculous. Is she there to get the intimacy back between Gatwa and RTD, allegedly, says Paul Richards.
So she's like a referee kind of thing then.
Well, it's too late. It's too late now, you know, because anything that, if there is, and there are rumours going around, isn't there? There's that rumours going around that the two of them have fallen out, and that's why Gatwa may not be back. Who really cares if it's true? But there are rumours going around. That would have happened after they filmed the episodes. And bearing in mind, they haven't filmed a 2025 Christmas episode. There is no 2025 Christmas episode in the can. He did 2.
It would be interesting if Ncuti disagreed with some of Russell's writing and didn't want to play it that certain way, and was actually fighting against it. That'd be very interesting to find out, wouldn't it?
Yes, it could be. Robert Payne's making a good point here as well. Is it the new name for chaperone? Yes, I think it actually is.
Yeah,
I think it actually is. And then instead of just chaperoning people of 18 and under, it's actually chaperoning the entire unit, because obviously they're not grown up anymore and can't function in the real world and can't understand how to interact with other people of the human race. I just think, what the hell? All this money. How much do these people get? And how do I start doing it? I mean, it's just a real... I just find it ridiculous, you know? It's another thing that's come up in the last few years because of their perception of society and hand-holding people with cotton wool all the way through their blooming lives. Now it's in professions. Oh, somebody didn't use my personal pronoun. Get the intimacy coordinator immediately. We're having a breakdown. Oh, please do me a favor. You know what I mean? It's pathetic, isn't it? Absolutely pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. Yeah. Paul Rose is saying to Paul, it's all DEI, Paul, more unnecessary rubbish that puts the budgets up. A grift like a lot of it now.
Yeah.
And Mark Milford, hiya Mark, an intimacy coordinator in TV production, is a professional who works with actors and directors to choreograph and oversee intimate scenes, ensuring actors feel comfortable and safe while filming. Yeah, that's what I found out as well. But it does seem as well, Mark, that they are doing extra bits and pieces as requested as well. Now, if this is the case, as Mark Milford is saying here as well, why is it needed now? Ensuring actors feel comfortable and safe when you're acting and you might be doing an intimate scene. Oh, for crying out loud. Do you remember the days when people just clambered into bed, got the scene done, had a laugh, went home?
Yeah, that's exactly it should be.
It's called acting.
Yeah.
Now they need coaching to feel safe. It makes me vomit. Mark continues to say, involving nudity, simulated sex, or other vulnerable physical contact, acting as an advocate for their boundaries and consent through the process.
Yeah, but in Doctor Who, no.
Yeah, exactly.
I just don't understand, even if it's something like Rivals or something like that. You know,
you are Doctor Who. It's a family show. They'll be shagging in Doctor Who. That's going to happen.
As soon as you sign the contract for the role you're in, and it involves something like this in the script you have read, that is you consenting to do that.
Yeah.
This is why adults need to come back into the industry now, because this is ridiculous. This is talking down to these people. And some of these idiots are so fickle. They'll go with all this because, oh, yeah, we need to consent to that particular. What happens if they don't consent to it? Do they rewrite the entire script? It's shocking. I mean, this is bloody ridiculous. I don't understand it. I just don't understand it at all. Shempmeister, it's good to see you. The great actor Frank Langella was fired from a production after he protested at the use of an intimacy coordinator. It doesn't surprise me. Yeah. Doesn't surprise me at all now. Yeah.
Frank Langella is an experienced actor from a different generation, so that's why he's responding that way. He's thinking the same way as we do, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Isn't that just ridiculous?
He probably needed one on Torchwood.
What, just to get through it, you mean?
Well, that and some of the scenes in there were quite near the bone, weren't they?
I can't remember.
Cyberwoman, are you?
Well, no, there was scenes where in one of those longer ones, I think it might have been the 10-parter one, where nobody could die. Wasn't there quite an extended scene where Jack was having it away with a bloke in a hotel room?
You're asking absolutely the wrong person. I have no time for Torchwood at all. What a load of old nonsense. It's only there on the shelves because they stuck Martha in it. So therefore,
I mean, the thing about that was at least that was aimed for an adult audience. That was a nighttime show. It wasn't a family show. But this is Doctor Who. Why do we have to have any form of sex in it at all? And this suggests that it's going to be worse than it was last time.
But it's not being prudish, is it? It's not being prudish. I've got no problem with, you know, they can do what they like, no holds barred, anything in a TV program. If it's at the appropriate time, post-watershed or whatever, I don't care. It's just not Doctor Who. It's never been Doctor Who. But then that filth that was last year or earlier this year was not Doctor Who. Neither was all the crap with Whittaker and her bed in the console room and the lesbian hints and everything else is not Doctor Who, which is why they're never doctors in my mind. It's just not. It's not the program we love. It's not what we enjoy. It's not what it's ever been. It's a. Not sure I'd get away with a word, so I won't. But it ends in I's version of what we've. No,
it's a version of Doctor Who that is given to us by extreme left-wing ideologists.
Yeah.
Who are trying to dictate to the rest of us how we should lead our lives and what we should say. And they're completely missing the point. And this whole new generation that's come up with things like intimacy coordinators, which Shepmeister is saying to us here, are even used for kissing scenes. It's utter nonsense. And as I say, if you are an actor, if you want to be an actor, learn to bloody act. It's not you, it's your character. That whole art is being destroyed now. It really, really is, because you've got all these people saying, I wouldn't do that. You're not in it. You are playing the character written by a very talented, usually, writer. Get it sorted. Get over your ego and get over your own issues. because you shouldn't be in that industry. And in fact, you shouldn't be in any industry, quite frankly. Ron Sapp is saying to us, England is seriously screwed. Can I just adjust that for you, Ron, to say Britain is seriously screwed, because there is more to this country than just England. So yeah, it's Britain, because Scotland, Northern Ireland and Wales are incredibly screwed, as you say, with England. So it's the United Kingdom, it's Britain. We are, and it's not going to get any better over the next 4 years.
And if we're talking about Doctor Who, then we are right royally set in Wales, aren't we?
Yeah,
gosh.
yeah,
exactly. And they will follow the guidelines given to them, not just by a certain charity with all its LGBTQI plus nonsense, but also the Welsh government, which is please not worth the time of day, in my opinion. I wonder what the Daleks will look like if they are in season 2. Well, they'll be pink and fluffy, won't they?
Yeah.
And Anthony Parkinson is saying to us, every time I think of RTD now, I picture Vic Reeves rubbing his trousers, perving over some attractive woman. All alleged. It's all alleged. These are people's viewpoints. This is alleged. Care Avon, it's nice to see you. I never thought that after hear this, that I would blame the 1996 movie. This is where it started, moving away from the main character being an alien, not human. So I really don't understand why this is needed. Well, yeah, definitely. I mean, it was all in there on that one. Paul Rose is saying to me, JT, I honestly believe we are now the most woke country in the world. It's out of control. Well, Canada still have a couple of years on us. That's all I'm saying on that one. Australia are having an incredibly bad time as well. New Zealand is having a very incredibly bad time. But there we go.
I think it started going downhill when I think it was the character Anita kissed the doctor on the cheek in The Two Doctors in Spain. it was
goes right back to Jamaica. Sorry,
that
not
cup
Paul.
of cocoa. That cup of cocoa has so much to answer for.
Yeah, and in fact, the doctor got a granddaughter as well, so don't get me started on that. Anyway.
Yeah.
Well, that's part of the context, though. We knew that, right? But I don't know. I mean, all these other this modern day stuff that's coming into it, though. I don't get it. I don't understand it. And I think it's because we're dealing with very privileged, sensitive souls that are having difficulty getting through life, and that's why they go into show business, because they're going to get pandered to every single day. Every single day. I mean, the media, we know this is the fact with the media. Look what The Guardian did this week. The Guardian, in case you don't know, stop the world, I want to get off, says John Cartwright. Yeah. And Russ Morgan saying to us, all these young actors are too soft. The Guardian, one of the wokest newspapers in the United Kingdom, this week said to its staff, if you're having a hard time dealing with the results of the American presidential election, we will have counsellors for you. It's nothing to do with us, for heaven's sake. It's nothing to do with the United Kingdom. It's not.
It's like when Take That broke up, there's a helpline for you. Like that, yeah.
And that's why I always joke that when Doctor Who is axed in the next few years, as I am sure it is going to be, some of these youngsters will have breakdowns and need that helpline. And I'll be there ready to launch it here on Who's Views and make some money off them.
I'll be dusting down my 12-inch flash and the Doctor in distress when that happens.
It'll be re-recorded, won't it? It'll be a new version.
Yeah, exactly. It will be a new version.
Doctor in distress.
Yes.
Yeah.
Copyright Who's Views.
Yeah, and Doctor in that dress. There should be basic standards anyway. It shouldn't take a dedicated person to police it, says Paul Rose. That's exactly it, isn't it?
It's common sense and decency, isn't it? That's it.
It really is. And if they're telling me that society has lost this, I'm not that surprised, because British society has lost so much recently over the last 10 years. It really, really has. It's lost its ability to get through life. We have bred generations of young people now that are spoon-fed and dressed in cotton wool every single day, 7 days a week. And if you say boo to them, they'll go and cry. If you don't use their personal pronouns, they'll go and cry. If you tell them to do something at work, they'll go and cry. Not all of them, of course, but there are a number. And this is the future of the planet. Be afraid, everybody. Be afraid, because it's just nonsense, isn't it? It really, really is. What else we got here? Cute Poirot Zero. Nice to see you. Remember, there was a Game of Thrones actor who complained about the sex scene until the male actor reassured her. Well, she shouldn't have taken the role then, because that wasn't Game of Thrones all about chopping people's heads off and shagging about the place?
I believe so. I've never watched any of it, but yeah, I think so. Yeah.
No, I haven't. But yeah,
I couldn't watch it. I couldn't get into it. I watched the first episodes of season 1, guys, and thought this isn't for me. It was too much. Bleh, you know, I couldn't be done with it. Just didn't like it. It just wasn't
too much. What?
Oh no, it was just ridiculous.
Oh, I thought you were going to do that again. Then that would have been brilliant.
Mark Greaves. Oh, sorry, yeah, Mark Greaves is into us. I'm scared that there will be a sex scene and it will be in the TARDIS. They got very near to it.
They did, yeah, over the console, just about, yeah.
Very, very near to it, and it was shockingly bad and a disgusting episode. And because we complained about it, a lot of fans complained, and a lot of critics complained, saying that's not Doctor Who. That's not what Doctor Who's about. We got called phobe, anist, anots, as usual, all the usual stuff. Absolutely nothing to do with that at all. It's because we understand the character better than the bloody people making the show. It's as simple as that. Mary Whitehouse would be in her element in 2024, Woodhouse 122. Now, I have to say it, if somebody like Whitehouse was available now to hold these people to account, it wouldn't be happening as much.
And I bet you thought you'd never say that, you know?
I never did. I never, ever thought I'd say that. But we actually need somebody like the Mary Whitehouse now in this day and age to complain about this sort of stuff. We do, because it's gone far too far. I mean, as I said last week, the BBC, you can now even say the F word on the BBC. The first time I heard that on the BBC, I nearly sat down because I was stunned. I was like, where the hell?
Well, I was watching, I was just flicking channels and I caught a programme. It was about 9:05-ish. And I heard the F word about 3 minutes past 9. The F word was on this programme on BBC One. It's ridiculous. You don't need it. You know?
It's shocking, isn't it? Absolutely. I don't. I mean, they're trying to do all this thing that we know about, isn't it? Which is about reflecting society today. I'd rather they actually try to do what they're always trying to do about looking at this is the moral compass. They've got room to talk, please. But they're all about this and that and this and that.
The compass is broken, JT.
Maybe they should be looking at actually putting decent society role models in there and good humor and what have you. You know, I don't know. Making an example, a good example, rather than trying to reflect what they think society is about, because they're getting it very, very wrong. Hello to Into the Dark, who's joined us. You guys are weirdos and probably don't even watch the show. Stop pushing your freakazoid agendas.
Now, I have to say, we've all watched the show. That's why we're moaning about it, because it's crap.
Yeah.
Take you on any day, Into the Dark. If you want a quiz, let's go for it.
Into the Dark. Just to let you know, you can go and look at 10 episodes we did where we reviewed this utter nonsense that RTD, Bad Wolf, Disney Plus, and BBC Studios have offered us. Painful as it was, we started with such optimism, looking forward to what was hopefully a rebooted Doctor Who with a Doctor we recognised. And what we got was a load of woke, far-left extreme nonsense with a homosexual Doctor, which no Doctor Who fan, and at this point I'm going to do what you probably would talk about, proper Doctor Who fan wants, because get this, the Doctor is alien. He's asexual. He's not the Peter Cushing Doctor Who. So there you go. But thank you very much for joining us. And thank you very much for your very constructive comment. And if you want to talk about freakazoid agendas, go and look at your version of the show. There's a freakazoid agenda in every single one, including a very lame drag queen episode, one of the worst Doctor Who episodes in its entire history. But thank you for joining us. Please subscribe and give us a thumbs up. Appreciate it. Nice to see you. We get all sorts here, and that's what it's all about.
It's all thought to make a universe, doesn't it? Even the funny end of the universe.
Even the funny end of the universe, but everybody is welcome here. And I hope that Into the Dark comes back when we do our Christmas review of Joy to the World to tell us what he or she thought about it. I'm so glad they didn't use the personal pronouns. But thank you very much anyway. Anyway, yes. So hello all, says Amaray. Nice to see you as well. Lovely to see you. Family show. This family show should really not need this kind of thing. Can you imagine the third and fourth Doctor having to deal with this on the show? This is getting silly now. It's been getting silly for some time, hasn't it, with these production teams? and show business in the entertainment industry. But let's just remember that I think personally, Kerry, and everybody else in the chat, Into the Dark, the rest of you, I think there's going to be some great changes coming in the next 5 years in the entertainment show business industry, because if they don't adapt and if they don't listen, they're gone and they can't get out of that hole. It's now that they have to change, because their arses were handed back to them on a silver platter last week, with the great American public voted in their millions, whether you like it or not, whether you agree with it or not. They voted, they spoke, and we all have to get on with it, because that's democracy. And show business and entertainment have to do the same thing. Oh, yes. What a culture shock.
They don't like that bit, though, do they? They don't like that bit.
No, they don't. It's all pathetic.
Mentioned about Pertwee or Baker struggling with this kind of thing. I think Pertwee and Baker, and in fairness, certainly Hartman and Troughton, and probably Davison and Colin Baker and McCoy as well, would have killed it in rehearsals. It would never have made it to the screen, because they understood the character they were playing. They were said, we aren't having any of this bull, and it would have been killed. They wouldn't have even dared put it in front of them.
Well, that's what I mean. There's no room for analysis of the script as you're rehearsing it, because you're just doing it and doing as you're told, and that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lots of chat coming in from everybody as well. Thank you very, very much to see you all here. Oh, Hugh Janus, thank you so much for your super chat. Could it be the intimacy coordinator is to keep the shooty bone under control? Do you know, I would like to believe, as you guys were saying there just before, that it's not actually down to him, because if you remember as well, when he first took the role, allegedly, as we talked about months ago, he was actually looking at the Doctor as a character, and he went with them saying, I see my Doctor in this outfit. And then the people, the powers that be, turned around and said, no, we see him like this. And as an actor, he's going to have to do what he's told.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm really, really deep down hoping that he's trying to play to what he thinks the Doctor can be. We'll soon find out, because, of course, as we say, season 2 was filmed back to back with series 1. He surely would have got into the role a little bit more, and we'll see as the season 2 episodes go out. But you know, he hasn't hit it as the Doctor for me, for the reasons we explained in our episodes, our reviews. But as an actor, I'm really hoping that he's thinking, you know, do you know what I'm saying?
I think doctors have descriptions. The third Doctor, the dandy, he will always be the dandy. But Shooty's going to be the Randy Doctor, isn't he? That's how you remember him. The Randy Doctor.
Well, I won't remember him at all, because, like Whittaker, I'll just write it off as, oh well, that was there, but it won't make it onto the shelves here. It won't. Nothing with their faces will adorn my merchandise collection, because I'm quite happy being where it was when it was proper Doctor Who, about an alien
fan fiction.
Sorry,
it's just perverted fan fiction. That's all it is. It's not.
It's very bad fan fiction. Let's face it. I mean, even the Virgin New Adventures wouldn't have gone with something like Space Babies.
No.
Peter would have turned around straight away and said, that needs a couple more drafts.
Yes. And that's the problem. Yeah. And he would have been. So because I'm sure a lot of Russell's scripts are only first drafts. I remember reading somewhere about Chibnall's era that a lot of his stuff were first drafts, and you can tell they're first drafts. You know, like the serial one particularly was dreadful. You know.
Into the Dark's raving on. There was no drag queen episode. It was called The Devil's Board. Sorry, The Devil's Cord, and there was a drag queen in it, dear. So yes, there was.
Who's not been watching it then?
Yeah,
exactly.
We have to be sympathetic to these people, don't we?
We do, and bless them, but very welcome, as long as you subscribe. Paul Richards is saying Jinx was a revelation. It proves you don't need talent to be on television anymore.
That's always been the case, sadly. Yeah.
As I keep saying, that artist had more ham than my local butchers. And the rating in this country went down for it. As you can see, if you tune in and look at our Who's Views Reviews episodes of that series 1 of Disney Who, it's all available for you on playback there.
How could you miss a drag queen being in Doctor Who if you watch the episodes? How can you miss that? It's so obvious.
Exactly. But there you go. But listen, not only have we got the reviews of series 1 of Disney Who, of course, we've got our reviews of proper Doctor Who, 1963 to 1989. That's all going to be available for you. And this week, just to let you know as well, is this week we are celebrating season 2. live here on the channel on Wednesday at 8 o'clock UK time, where we are looking at season 2 of Proper Doctor Who with Hartnell first. Yes, the first Doctor himself, William Hartnell. We're going to be celebrating series 2 and how it's eventually now arriving on Blu-ray standard edition. So those of us lucky enough, or who were mad enough, depending on your point of view, to buy the limited edition version, will be telling us all about their favorite parts of the Blu-ray, what I've got to look forward to with my standard edition. And yes, we will be talking about our favorite moments from those stories in series 2 as well. Gosh, lots coming up for you here in this. So yeah, there we have it. But going back to the story on this intimate community, this is Sita Thomas here, and there's the Alex Palali as director referral there. But I just think it's such a great shame that in this day and age, we need these sort of things. And I think it's basically down to the industry and the way people are obviously performing in that industry. And I don't mean on stage or in front of camera. I mean as human beings. I think there's something.
Like I said, they have proper rehearsals, they have a chance to build a rapport with each other and develop. You lose that kind of being a bit kind of put off by someone you don't know very well. So you get to know them as you rehearse and develop a relationship. And that's what you need to do. That's why rehearsals are really important.
Yeah. Rose Kirby's joining us. Hello, lovely. How are you? Hope you are very, very well. Does anybody remember the saying, no thanks, we're British? Absolutely. I have it on a t-shirt, my darling. I've got it on a t-shirt ready for next summer, if we get one. No, thank you, we're British. And I think people in the BBC need to understand that a little bit more and remember exactly where they're coming from. I don't know about you lot, but there we go. Yeah. Listen, thanks for joining us. This is Hugh's Views. It's nice to see you. Please subscribe to the channel if you're new, Into the Dark. And if you're not new, please make sure you are still subscribed to the channel. Because yes, some of you are still getting in touch saying that for some reason your subscription gets taken off. I don't know what that's about, as I say, but please make sure you're still subscribed. Give the show a like as well. And this week, of course, Doctor Who is celebrating its 61st anniversary. 61 years of a Time Lord. Well, that's debatable these days, of course, but to us, he's always going to be a male Time Lord. We've got some shows lined up for you, not the aforementioned celebration of season 2, but also we have got a very special weekend lined up for you, including on Friday, this. We're going to be talking about the bestest telly theme tune in the world ever. Ta-da! By that, of course, we don't mean the Miss Marple tune, but we do mean the Ron Grainer classic, the Doctor Who theme tune. Legend in its own lifetime. There can't be a person in the United Kingdom, he says, thinking about it, thinking actually there might be, who doesn't know the
Jeff Love. Yeah,
yeah. Let's just say that those of us that were born in the United Kingdom, raised in the United Kingdom, and are here legally, we'll all know the Doctor Who theme tune. It's 61 years old this very weekend, so we're going to be celebrating that. Right now here on the channel, on the community tab, you can go and vote for your favorite version. Now, shockingly, there are more versions of our favorite tune that have been put onto BBC television than you might actually think, starting with the original version from the late, great, and genius that was Delia Derbyshire to today's version. So yes, it's all there for you. There are 5, count them, 5 tabs, 5 posts on our community tab. This will close at 3 p.m. tomorrow, British time, which is Monday, the 18th of November. And then tomorrow night, round 2 will come on, where the best of the 5 tabs will then appear on another tab. That will hopefully be the outright winner, which we will announce on Friday's show. Which of the versions of the Doctor Who theme tune is the best? You get to tell us. So please make sure you voted. As I say, the tabs that are there, the 5 posts that are there, will close tomorrow, Monday, the 18th of November at 3 o'clock. And then later on in the evening, basically when I get home from work and can get down to doing it, the next tab will be there, which will be the 5 final points that you voted for. And then you have to vote for your ultimate winner. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
That poll will close at 3 o'clock on Thursday. And then we will announce the winner on our live show here on the channel when we talk about the bestest telly theme tune in the world ever. That's going to be fun. That's going to be fun, I think.
I wonder which one it's going to be.
It's going to be the Cybertech version from Dimensions in Time.
Excellent. I'd vote for that one. Yeah. Definitely.
I've got that on an album here. I tell you.
Superb.
Yeah. Do you remember it was so 90s?
Oh, it was,
It was,
yeah.
wasn't it? Yeah, blind.
The rave. I remember as well. We'll talk about this on Friday. I remember once when some genius DJ in London played it in a club I was in, and I was off my head. I was like, wow! It was the 90s, everybody. It was the 90s. But come and join us for that. The bestest telly theme tune in the world ever. That's going to be on Friday. We will be back on Saturday live at 8 as well with another fantastic show called Anniversary Legends. It's all up there for you now on our homepage. Make sure you've subscribed, make sure you've liked, and make sure you've rung that bell. So it's all there for you to get notifications. What a week. What a week we've got for you. What a week we've got for you. Okay, so here we go again. Well, goodness me, something else happened this week, didn't it? Talk about intimacy coordinator. I think I nearly needed one when I saw this. Put this on our Facebook page, our Who's Views Facebook page, and goodness me, look at this nonsense. This, ladies and gentlemen, was not a leak. Let me just express this to you. This was not a leak. This was a fan that happened to be at the shooting of the new alleged Doctor Who spin-off, the war between blah 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 and blah 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 blah, the one that we're trying to be interested in but isn't really having the impact again. And that, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, is allegedly a sea devil.
Now you're being slightly misleading there. We don't know that's a sea devil, do we?
We don't know, but that's why I said allegedly.
Okay.
People have, I mean, this could be a fish person, or it could be an entirely new alien or a new thing. But the likelihood is, because they sort of have reluctantly confirmed that this new spin-off has the Sea Devils involved with it, as we've covered about on this show. The likelihood is that could be the new form. Now, we speculated on this, didn't we, a while ago on Headlines, where we were talking about what would they look like? Because if they're hiring certain actors, they'll want those actors to be seen. So would they go down the Silurian route? Now, if that's the case, it looks like they possibly could. But yeah, as we say, it's all speculation. It's all speculation. And it actually, late in the day, got to Screen Rant. Now, don't laugh. Don't laugh, everybody. Okay, it's Screen Rant. Now, they love woke Doctor Who, don't they, with a passion. They do. It's always very much that way. And they're never really on the fence. It's always that way. But let's have a look at this one. This was written by Nathan Graham Lowry just a couple of days ago on the Friday. Doctor Who spin-off set photo reveals first look at Sea Devils redesign. The article continues with, despite the excitement surrounding Doctor Who's first large-scale spin-off under the current BBC Disney production agreement, this first glimpse at the war between the land and sea is sure to cause plenty of controversy among the fandom, just for a change. While the monsters' costumes were undoubtedly cumbersome and a product of their time, oh, please, why is everything for these people a product of their time? Listen, if it's a product of their time, leave it in their time and come up with your own thing. That's what I say. If the Sea Devils are a product of 1972 with a version in 1984, just leave them there and do something different. Don't be saying this is a Sea Devil like you did with the Silurians and recreate it. Everything's a product of its time, so leave it in its time. Ooh, it infuriates me, Who viewers. Anyway, here we go. Where is it? Oh, yes, there is still plenty of nostalgia for the design. For many, Legend of the Sea Devils, that's the Jodie Whittaker episode, redesign struck a perfect compromise between updating the design while maintaining its iconography. I have to say, guys, as well, having seen the Sea Devils from that awful episode, and I haven't seen the episode, they do look good. They do look very good.
We're all right.
Yeah, and all credit to the gentleman that designed and put them together. Perfect.
Yeah.
Instead, the spin-off's radically redesigned Sea Devils could be seen as an attempt to modernize the design to appeal to newcomers, with the monsters taking a more central role that could additionally add more complexity to them. The new look could have been envisioned to trade away the more exaggerated elements and make them into creatures that more casual viewers can take seriously. Just at this point, I'd like to point out there are no casual viewers. I can guarantee you this is going to be a flop straight away. Alternatively, the mysterious creature may not be a traditional sea devil and could potentially be a distantly related variant or an entirely different species, as they did with the Silurians.
Yeah.
Why bother then? It continues. Though the exact nature of the species is unclear, the war between the land and the sea's new potential sea devil isn't the first time a Doctor Who monster has seen such a drastic reimagining. The sea devil's distant genetic cousins, the Silurians, received a similarly humanized overall during season 5, where many of their most iconic elements were instead integrated into a battle mask. More controversially, fellow Doctor Who spin-off Torchwood featured the incomplete Cyber Woman, an alternative take on the Cybermen that had a revealing design. With audiences having only just gotten their first glimpse at this potential new take on a classic monster, it is unclear where it could fall into the spectrum of revival redesigns. Audiences have grown used to the redesign. I mean, this guy is so positive, it's unbelievable. Audiences have grown used to the redesigned Silurians as time has passed, though the Cyberwoman still remains a controversial part of an otherwise solid episode. As such, if the mysterious amphibious alien is indeed a sea devil, viewers may have to wait until further context is given to determine whether the war between the land and the seas and reinterpretation is a worthy addition to Doctor Who canon. One thing that the alleged media has to get into touch with here is there is no audience. If you're going to talk about fans, write fans. That's the audience, and not many of them. So write fans, because when you say audience to me, I think general. I think the public. They're not there, and they don't care, and they certainly aren't going to remember the Silurian redesign from 2010.
Well, they're not going to remember the Sea Devils from 1972 either, are they? Unless they're fans. So
and they're not going to remember the Jodie Whittaker episode, whenever that was.
But who's this aimed at, though? You know what I mean? Who is this aimed at if it's not the fans? So if you're bringing back a classic monster for the fans who are not watching anyway, why bother? Like you say, just make it a different monster. Because it's unrecognizable. There's no way you can say that was a Sea Devil if you put the two pictures together. Even the last ones that came with Jodie and put them together look nothing like the Sea Devils at all, do they?
I mean, I presume this article is referring to the photo that we've looked at.
Yes, it is. Yes.
Yeah.
Because the Silurians and the Sea Devils are prehistoric reptiles.
Yes.
And whilst I don't like them, but the new series Silurians do still have a reptilian look in that they're humans just with reptile skin.
Yeah.
But these don't look to have any reptilian features at all. I know it's a blurry photo, it's taken at distance, it's taken at night. So, you know, but I mean, even seeing what we've seen, they don't look even vaguely reptilian. And that's, if that is a Sea Devil, then it's a huge cause for concern.
Yeah.
Because the design was brilliant, even in 1972.
Yes.
It was brilliant. It was perhaps a little bit clunky because they didn't have the technology available now, but it was still a fantastic design. That picture on the front of that book of the Sea Devil appearing behind Pertwee, it's iconic, you know, and people remember it because it was great TV.
Yeah.
They don't need to keep interfering with stuff that's gone before. Like you say, Paul, just do something original.
Yeah.
But they don't have an original bone in their body. That's the problem.
It looks more like a fish person from Underwater Menace than a Sea Devil.
It really does. That's what I put on the Facebook page, actually. It really reminds me of a fish person from there.
Yeah. Lots of comment coming in from you guys in the chat. That Sea Devil looks horrendous. We don't want any more Star Trek looking creatures in Doctor Who or its spin-offs. Thank you very much. This was what was always making Doctor Who stand out. We had monsters, and it's as though now they are too frightened to show a monster, possibly because it's the audience they're pandering to, the minority audience there, will get fed up with it and frightened of it and not be able to sleep for a week and need counselling. You know, but this was always the brilliant thing. It has turned more into, as I've said before on the show, it's turned into more of the Star Trek stuff. I mean, look at those Silurians we had. We talked about these in our specials recently, didn't we? You know, I mean, Lex is here. Thank you, Lex, for your super chat. Nice to see you. It looks like the episode of DS9, Deep Space Nine from Star Trek Season 1, episode Captive Pursuit with Alien Creature Tusk. I actually talked about it. It was either in our Silurian Sea Devil show or here on Headlines, where I actually showed a picture from Voyager, which used dinosaur-related aliens that were in the Delta Quadrant because the dinosaurs had left Earth. That's a science fiction show. That's funny. But that's what the Silurians could have done in Doctor Who as well, because they had the technology to go into space. They just didn't bother. Or did they? Do you know, it's one of these things, isn't it, really? It's Thank you, Lex. It's all there. But if this is true, again, we're going to be coming back here on those reviews of these 5 episodes from this thing and on Headlines, and we're going to be calling them out, aren't we? When all they had to do is, if they were going to do a Sea Devil show, is be absolutely 100% respectful to Malcolm Hulke's genius creatures, and as Ian was saying there, the origins of these keys. These creatures are not humanoid. They are reptiles.
But
And
then
these people are fancying.
you're talking. This is overseen by RTD, who has shown
He's writing as well. Don't forget.
Yeah, who's shown absolute disrespect to one of the greatest characters in sci-fi ever, Davros. And if he's prepared to do that, then God knows where he won't stop, will he? He'll just put his own spin on everything.
Yeah, because it'll all be about that, isn't it? Really, you know. I mean, they didn't learn from the feedback they got from fans back in 2010 when we realized that thing was a Silurian, and we all thought it was going to be a new monster, and then it turned out to be the Silurian, and we didn't like it, especially when you saw the original design that Moffat allegedly rejected.
Yeah,
Dalek Eye is saying to us, some are saying it may be a creature from the underwater menace. Stephen Braddock is saying that's rumored to be Gugu Mabwatha Raw as a sea devil scientist who falls in love with a human. Oh God, I hope that's not going to be in it, because how am I going to get through 5 episodes of some sort of nonsensical romance? I can't. A sea devil and a human. Oh, again, it's
fishy
like
romance sounds dreadful. Yeah. So.
Yeah, but it's like that thing where we've got a Lenthian Silurian with a human.
Exactly that, isn't it?
I mean, that was cringe as well. JT, says Paul Rose. Yes, Paul Rose. I wondered when you would get to this. There's a worse one out there with a blue face quoted as a sea devil. Is there really? I am so glad I haven't seen it. I'm so glad. Lee Smith is saying to us here, I'd rather watch fish fingers frying in a pan.
Fish fingers, nice.
With custard, anybody?
I'm not sure about that, yeah.
Gilliam, hello, Gilliam Saeed, nice to see you. Oh, human sea devil hybrid. Now we know why we need that sex educational woman. It wouldn't surprise me, Gilliam, if she's working on that as well, because she might be around right now. I don't know if she's there now. There was nothing on her CV when I looked. There was nothing there on the online CV. I'm sorry, I can believe that's a new sea devil, says Stephen Braddock, but I can't believe in casual viewers. Exactly. It's not there. They are not there. Certainly not in the UK. And as we were talking about on our show last week, Doctor Who has no chance currently in the new America that's on the way either. Peter Venkman fansite, lovely to see you, darling. The casuals abandoned the time capsule at Jodie while in the vortex. Yeah, big time.
Yeah,
big time. And people don't like to admit it, and they won't admit it. And oh no, everything's fine. No, it's not. The show is dying, and it's a very painful death. And now they're trying to do this. They can't get the main show right, and now they're doing a spin-off, and it doesn't look as if they've got that right either, from the rumors. If it's good, I'll say so when we come to review it. You can always guarantee, if I like the thing, I'll tell you, and I'll be honest with you. If I don't like the thing, I'll also be honest with you. Mark Greaves, are we going to guess how low the viewing figures will be already? Definitely less than 2 million. Yes, that's coming up. It's all coming up. The ratings game is on the way back for you for Christmas and beyond. So stay with us, everybody. If you're new to the show and you don't know what the ratings game is, you are in for a treat. Oh, yes, you are. Not to mention the Wokeometer. Yes, I'll be dusting down my Uncle Sydney, and he'll be back with us at Christmas. Oh, yes, bless him. What else we got? Oh,
missed Uncle Sydney.
Yeah, he'll be back at Christmas. Don't you worry. He'll be out there with his baubles. Just a reminder, says Problem Being, that it was a year ago tomorrow that Davros was murdered by RTD. Hashtag Davrosgate really was.
Yeah.
Shocking.
We can't let him forget these things. We cannot let them. What else we got there? Also, Lee is saying to us, reptiles do not evolve like humans do, like we do. They hardly change for millions of years. Well, look at the what's it called, that dinosaur that stuns you and then eats you because you can't get away from it. You know, what's it called, everybody? You'll know in the chat what it's called.
The big dragon.
That's it. Ugh, horrible looking things. They frighten the hell out of me. Always have since I was little, and they told me at school that if it lashes out at you and stings you, you are numb and you can't move. It paralyzes you, and then the thing will come back and eat you. Ugh, now that's a Doctor Who story. That's a monster there, isn't it, really? Why they're not concentrated on things like that? That's terrifying. I don't know. Lots of things.
Perhaps RTD doesn't want to portray tortoises as evil.
Yeah, because they might get offended, mightn't they?
Yeah,
they might.
Or if there's any person around identifying as a tortoise, they might get offended.
I'm sure there's a few of them. Yeah,
I'm sure there are.
Well, there's bound to be, isn't there? There's bound to be. Let's have a look. Into the Dark still prattling on. So if he's asexual, did he lay an egg and out popped his granddaughter? Now listen, That's the beauty of the Who in Doctor Who, because we don't know. The Time Lords of Gallifrey are males and females to us. Yeah, that's how there was a form of male, there was a form of female, but we don't know how they reproduce. And quite frankly, as Doctor Who fans, we don't want to know, because that's not what the entire series is about.
Have you not read Long Barrow?
No,
well, yeah, looms. But if he
Yes.
did lay an egg, out would
Yes.
pop his daughter, not his granddaughter. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Even with
It's
your
nonsense.
own crappery, get it right, please.
I mean, it's true. I mean, this is what's nonsensical. But I'll tell you something. For 26 years of superior time travel on BBC, we didn't wonder about these sorts of things because it was never part of the narrative. I would actually recommend Into the Dark. You get off your soapbox and go and watch some of proper Doctor Who from 63 to 89 and enjoy the story and get involved with the continuity, because it's all there, which has been deliberately ignored and rewritten by RTD, Moffat and Chibnall to suit their own left-wing ideologies. Yeah. And that's why it's failing, and has been since around about 2015, 2016. That's why it's been failing. And that's why it's in the toilet now with less than 2.1 million British viewers. So there you go.
Was it as much as that?
It's going to go below that. I swear to God, next year it's going to get 1 million and less. And that's with the final straw, and they will axe it. And people like Into the Dark will have to have that helpline, which we will be setting up and charging a fortune for. We're going to make money out of that. So we're going to be minted. I can guarantee you. It'd be quite easy as well, because the phone will go and we'll say tough, draw, and put the phone down on them. And they know that's £2.
Go and eat grass.
Yes.
Or touch grass, rather. Eat grass.
Yeah. We can eat it as well. Why not?
As well, if you want to. Yeah.
Dalakai saying, yippee, I missed the ratings game and the wokeometer. Yes, they'll all be back. They'll all be back. And Stephen Braddock is saying, I think the war between land and sea will sink without a trace. We see what you did there, Stephen. It's bound to, because there's not enough interest. There's not enough interest there now, I'm afraid, is there? And it's just not sustainable. And now, as we were talking about on our show last week, the big question I was asking you in the chat and the guys here is, Doctor Who already out of date? Because they want it to be massive in America. Not going to be. Not, or as a mate of mine said after he'd seen the show in the week, guys, he said to me, I saw your show and I think it would be very big in America if they edited it. So it'll be on for about 10 minutes. I thought, yeah, that's exactly what they're going to have to do, isn't it? I'm a fan. We know Paul Rose, we know. And I abandoned it halfway through Jodie, the Timeless Child. I tried the specials and they pushed me out even further. The majority of fandom have gone to be replaced by their targeted audience, one of whom is with us tonight, and you're very, very welcome. But you're not enough to sustain it. It's going nowhere. Hello to Tyler Durden Smile. It is lovely to see you. Hope you are well and healthy. The intimacy coordinator is there to say, stop having sex with that alien. And to which they will all ignore them. Absolutely. RCD is spreading his massacre of classic monsters, says Paul Richards. I just wish they hadn't bothered in this new version. I mean, it was all right at the beginning. It got a bit boring around about series 4 with the Sontarans and stuff. But then Moffat had to come back and, I'll do the Silurians. And
just always having to rely on other people's work.
Yeah.
I mean, do they not feel inadequate? I mean, they are inadequate, but do they not feel inadequate? Do they not understand how they're not being as inventive or intelligent as you know we had with Terry Nation or Jerry Davis or Kit Pedler or Malcolm Hulk? You know, the Bob Holmes. My God, you know.
Oh yes.
They aren't fit to be in the same country as those people, let alone in the same building. You know what I mean? They're just nowhere near. Even on their best day, they cannot come close to their worst day. And yet they're constantly feeding off their creations, their ideas, and twisting them and making them something completely different, something that they're not. Just
like Sutek, for example.
Yeah, completely. Yeah.
The most recent bastardization of a classic character who should never ever have been touched ever again, because Pyramids of Mars remains a classic and will do forever. And when new generations who aren't as woke or as extreme left-wing ideological as some of them are today will find it in the future, and I'm talking, God forbid, 60, 70 years in the future, they will get there, and because the human race still needs storytelling, they'll look at that and go, this is great, I enjoyed this, when was this made? Crikey. They will. Because it'll all change around. Tuatara, a lizard that lived over 100 million years ago and not changed, lives in New Zealand, says Armour Ray. That scares the hell out of me. It's like crocodiles and alligators, though, aren't they? Which, do you know what? If you're an animal lover, I don't care. I don't like the look of crocodiles and alligators. Turn them into handbags and shoes, I say, the lot of them. Don't like them at all. I've said this before to Java Bean, our friend over in Australia, and he's here with us saying, you blokes are up late. We are actually, but nice to see you. I hope you're feeling better, because I know you've been a bit poorly. It was called Doctor Who for a reason, says Stephen Braddock. Yes, they've forgotten that, haven't they? They have forgotten that now. I prefer to call it Doctor Why now. Why be bothering? Hello, Pete. How are you, Pete? Pete's just joined us. Nice to see you.
Hi,
good, and hope you are well, mate. I hope you are well. What else have we got here as well? John Cartwright is saying that.
Well, ITD, RTD, very possibly. I mean, if ITD is RTD, then you're a bloody idiot. Please like and subscribe.
For those of you listening, John Cartwright said to us, I think RTD is in the chat tonight, as into the dark. Oh, bless him. Don't give him too much, or him or her, I don't know. Too much for a hard time. Mark Greaves, thank you so much for your super chat. Mark is saying JT Enterprises, acting lessons, counselling and autograph writing courses. Yes, coming to you soon in 2025, care of Whose Views Inc. It's all on the way. Thank you for that, Mark. But yeah, I mean, that has caused a little bit of a storm. But I have to say, at this point, that's this alleged Sea Devil picture. Not as much as it would have done, certainly not as much as the Silurians, and certainly nothing like Davros Gate. And that says more to me again. That says that an awful lot of fans have just gone, I don't care. I've walked away. I don't care what they're doing. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, Davros Gate was pre-specials and pre-shooty, wasn't it? So we've sunk to an entirely new level of crap since then. Yeah, and that was a pretty low level. So... Yeah,
drag queens.
You should have seen it coming after Davros Gate, Well,
I think that was the eye opener for all of us, really, because after that dire Children of Knee thing last year with the Davros Gate thing, that's when we all started to get, we got slapped basically, and we all went, oh, hang on a minute, this might not be what we want. And then we got the specials, and we knew in the Star Beast immediately, definitely halfway through that awful episode, we all knew, no, this isn't for us, didn't we? We knew.
Yeah,
we just thought, no, they've doubled down on this. They're sending their nonsense to us big time here, didn't we?
It was that interview with Russell T Davies about Davros that was the alarming thing, and that was pre-specials, wasn't it? Where he was justifying taking him out of a wheelchair, not getting that it wasn't a wheelchair; it was a life support system on which he modelled the Daleks. He just, that whole, it gives, it makes you think disabled people are associated with evil. Well, actually, some are,
Humans. It's human. It's human. Yeah. You're never going to
saying disabled people are different and should be treated differently. Because, and from that interview, it was like, oh dear, we've got a wrong un. And,
well,
oh yeah.
We've got more.
If Davros created the Daleks in his own image, now having legs, the Daleks will have legs next time we see them, probably. So.
Listen, you are watching Whose Views, it's headlines. We have got another story coming up for you this evening as well. Our main story, one of our main stories this evening. We've got to talk about it because it's on the thumbnail and I'm not changing it. But Pete Harrington is with us. Hello. I thought things were supposed to get better according to Reem. How wrong we are. Absolutely. And hello to William. William Orlock, 86 is with us. Nice to see you, mate. It seems far more sheer ego and lack of creativity, as I said before, than left-wing ideology on the parts of RTD, Moff and Chibs. Also, Tuatara had 3 eyes, likely Hulk's inspiration. Oh, thank you for that. It could be. It's my theory there about this whole thing that they're pushing, William, because they've all got it in common, and also because I know their politics as well because of the whole LGB thing and LGB like the TQ thing. Amare is also saying about the Tuatara, they're still living. They are cute and small. They're not like the Komodo dragons that you see as a lump. who see you as a lump of fresh meat. Oh, I'll sleep tonight with that then. I'll sleep tonight. Thank you for that. I didn't know about that, but the thought of lizards like that around the place, honestly, it's one of my things. It's affected me from when I was a kid.
Just before we move on, the idea of this sea devil being a fish person wouldn't surprise me after RTD bringing back the Macra in Gridlock. Yeah. It wouldn't surprise me if he brought them back just for this, you know?
Yeah.
Well, we'll soon see.
I know you're not interested, but I just thought I'd throw that in.
No. Well, we'll soon see, because, you know, we will be talking about that. It's great content for the channel. We will be talking about that, and we will be reviewing these 5 episodes whenever they come along. So now we're going to move on to the last story for this evening, everybody. Hope you can stay with us. Thank you for joining us. It's great to see you all in the chat, and I want to know your opinions about this, because yes, this gentleman has been talking again. Of course, it's our current leading man. This is Ncuti Gatwa, as you very well know. I actually quite like that color on him. I think the outfit's quite nice, but this was him dressed up for a Vanity Fair interview. Here he is again here. Can you see this? This, as Vanity Fair say, is the Hollywood issue. Now, this is where there's Ncuti in the green suit on the right there, with various other people as well. These are the people who are the movers and shakers in Vanity Fair's eyes this year, currently at the moment. And of course, this is so right now, so totally out of touch with their target audience, which of course is the American audience. Absolutely insane. But yes, Vanity Fair, who'd have thought that Doctor Who would ever be mentioned in Vanity Fair? It's just a shame it's this version, isn't it? He says, editorial comment. But have you seen this? Doctor Who's and Ncuti Gatwa is on the move. I like to think of myself as Madonna. I'm still reinventing myself. After Sex Education and Barbie, he's working with dreamy Benedict Cumberbatch. The things I want to say about that man, I don't think are appropriate. Really? Okay. I mean, I don't fancy him, I must say. Well, I mean, he's handsome, but I wouldn't drop dead for him. Do you know what I mean? But anyway, let's get on with the article, everybody. Here it goes. 6 years ago, Ncuti Gatwa was a starving actor on the verge of quitting the business. Now he is a bona fide TV star, having taken over the starring role in the legendary British sci-fi franchise Doctor Who. This came on the heels of a 4-season run playing openly gay Nigerian British teen Eric Effiong on the hit Netflix series Sex Education, and as a role as one of Ryan Gosling's fellow Kens in Barbie. Gatwa also recently played Romeo in a presentation of Shakespeare's play for King Charles's coronation, and he's set on the starring role in the legendary British sci-fi franchise Doctor Who. Okay, so we've got all that there. Gatwa also recently played Romeo in a presentation of Shakespeare's play, and he's set to star in London production of The Importance of Being Earnest, as well as the upcoming film The Roses, featuring Olivia Colman and Benedict Cumberbatch. Now, interesting, guys, this is what Vanity Fair is more interested in. Benedict Cumberbatch and Olivia Colman. Now, there's an awful lot of waffle in this article, but I've tried to edit it the best way I can, because I got bored reading it, I have to say, because it was all about this. Do you remember The War of the Roses?
Yes.
The film in the 80s. It's a remake, and he's in it.
Michael Douglas and
Kathleen
Turner.
Kathleen Turner. Yeah.
Award-winning combination, those two. I mean, we all enjoyed their films. Through Romancing the Stone, the other one, and then Jewel of the Night. Yeah. So great. I hate Hollywood remaking films. You know, because
no imagination.
It is, isn't it? Why bother? And certainly they've made it for today's audience, so it's going to be one of them. Anyway, it carries on. How did a Rwandan immigrant raised in Scotland find his way into the heart of Hollywood? Ncuti says, actors, we are transformers by definition. Gatwa says, radiating the same exuberance and vulnerability that makes him so magnetic on screen. I think of myself as a shapeshifter, and I will shift into whatever shape you want.
Can you shift into being the Doctor then, please? That would be nice.
We're thrilled to have Gatwa as part of our 2025 Hollywood issue, says Vanity Fair. He spoke by Zoom from his home in London. Vanity Fair asks, you've played a wild range of roles in the last couple of years in Sex Education, Doctor Who, Barbie, and now The Importance of Being Earnest. Is there anything you can't do?
Yes, everything.
Well.
Ncuti Gatwa responds, when you look at the characters you play, you think there must be something that made them think of me for this role. There's a 16-year-old, a mortal alien, a doll, and a hedonistic 18th century aristocrat. It's quite a little array of my personality. Were there times earlier in your career when you felt at risk of being typecast? After season 1 of Sex Education, I spoke with my team. Why do they all have teams now? Why don't they just have an agent? Why do they all have teams, these pretentious actors now? Who the hell do they think they are? Oh, I've got a team. Oh, get over yourself. PAs and all that. Oh, please. Anyway, the next thing that we do in the public eye needs to be completely different. So we waited a long time before accepting anything. And then the next thing I did was Masters of the Air. Oh, we've seen that. But I was definitely worried about getting typecast, because when you have a character that's known for certain parts of their identity, I think it's hard for people to see past that sometimes. There it is again. It's all about him and his identity. And he thinks everyone else is going to typecast him because of how he allegedly identifies. Absolutely.
But if we just stopped talking about it, that'd be fine.
Yeah.
And if he just reacted, that would be fine as well.
Be a start, wouldn't it?
Vanity Fair then say, even if you were going to be typecast, there aren't a lot of characters on TV like Eric in Sex Education. Shooty responds, he is just a really wonderful written character. So if I was to play Eric for the rest of my life, that wouldn't be terrible. But I do want to play everything. It's more about me showing myself off than anything else. But yeah, it's interesting to see how characters of colour and of queer identities are being written now. Homophobic slur. Not so much as supporting characters or humorous characters, they're full-bodied. Oh, geez. It was amazing to see you go from that to Barbie, says Vanity Fair. What was the first time that you experienced? Was that the first time that you experienced the full Hollywood experience? Absolutely, says Gatwa'. Oh my gosh, it was a real test of my imposter syndrome. It was very Hollywood in terms of the cast and the budget and the infrastructure around it, but it also felt very much like we were rehearsing a play. It felt very authentic, like we were shooting a little indie that meant so much to us all. But it's this massive blockbuster. What more could you want? How did you get over the imposter syndrome part of it, says Vanity Fair, suddenly turning into a therapist. I don't think I did until the final moment. Even just a couple of hours ago, I got a Barbie phone as a part of a press kit, and I thought, oh my God, I can't believe I was in that film. I look at myself in it and I go, is that me? No, I don't think I did get over it. You're an actor, dear, allegedly. Was there one moment when it really hit home, says Vanity Fair? Maybe being at the Vanity Fair shoot, questions Gatwa'. I'm trying my best to focus on what stories I'm telling and telling them to the best of my abilities, but it's mad. It's mad when your publicist sends you an email and it's like, Vanity Fair would like you on the cover. That was a day of imposter syndrome, and I had to go away and listen to this little meditation thing on my phone. I was like, you deserve to be here. And then I went back in and I was very calm. It carries on. Oh yes, there's more. You talked about not wanting to play another character like Eric after Sex Education. Is it important to you to kind of defy expectations with the roles that you take on? I like to think of myself as Madonna. I'm still reinventing myself. Laugh. I like each role to be very different from the last, and I like to use all the tools in my kit as an actor that I've learned through the University of Life and drama school and all of that. I'm such a people watcher. Human beings are amazing and terrible and very weird. We are so weird. I want to play every single type of human. I'd like to see you play a Tory then, please, Gatwa'. That would be wonderful. Your Doctor Who has a lot of swagger, alleges Vanity Fair. Well, when you've been around for thousands of years, says Gatwa', you pick up a slight pep in your step. If you were getting the chance to be reborn and reborn and reborn and reborn, you get excited. And so curiosity and excitement were the two qualities I really wanted to imbue him with. And then, of course, this being Vanity Fair, they have to ask a certain question. Because we all know where Vanity Fair sits. And if you don't, this will show you. This is the age of Brexit and MAGA. Was there a racist, homophobic backlash?
God.
Again, the media trying to insinuate that Doctor Who fans and science fiction fans are ots, ists, and phobes. This is why they failed in the States. And this is why at some point I hope they fail here in the UK. Gatwa's answer is as follows. I wouldn't be the only black lead that's taken over sci-fi franchise that would have received that sort of treatment. Unfortunately, those are voices that exist in sci-fi fandoms, but they're not the only voices. I just remember feeling a lot of warmth and love and being embraced into a big nerd family. When we were shooting Doctor Who, when we're shooting Doctor Who, there are fans outside the studio or on location every single time, be it 4 a.m., be it minus 12 degrees. I think that's beautiful, what the show means to them. So I concentrate on that more than anything. I don't want to invalidate the very real thing that is racism or homophobia. I don't act as if they are. I don't act as if they in sci-fi phantoms, but they're not the only voices. I just remember feeling a lot of warmth and love and being embraced into the Big Nerd family. It's just, I mean, it's just ridiculous. I tried to pay it no mind and look at the many, many positives that came from joining the Hooniverse. And then you go and tell the majority of us to go and touch grass.
Yeah.
I mean, again, this shows the hypocrisy. And I'm going to say again, like, because we've covered Gatwa'S interviews and a lot of these glossy, high profile, but extremely expensive and pretentious magazines to a certain class only. Vanity Fair, the Rolling Stone, all these sorts of things that we've looked at over the last year. It's as though he doesn't realize that we are going to see this.
What I'm still reeling at is I've not watched much of his other works. I've seen little snippets, but it's the idea he has a range at all I'm quite shocked with, because he doesn't really. Everything I've seen him in, even outside Doctor Who, the little bits I have seen, he's very much playing himself. There is no range. There's no different character. If he's reinventing himself to be the same person every time, that's not reinvention at all, is it?
No, not at all. I like what you're all saying in the chat, so thank you for that. The Big Nerd fam laugh, says Domgo. But this one from Stephen Braddock says, there was no backlash. What treatment? We welcomed you, we gave you a chance, and you told us to touch grass, and you dare say we're is. Get over yourself, you utter hypocrite. I absolutely agree with that, Mr. Braddock. Absolutely 100%. Because I don't remember when it was announced he was coming into Doctor Who, any backlash at all. It's what the media look at. It's what they assume. Oh, there's a black queer homophobic slur guy in the role. They're not going to like this. It was the same with Whittaker. And yet the whole thing about any backlash for Whittaker was because we understand that the Doctor is a male of his species. That had been established over 26 years of time travel. It was in the continuity of the story. We also knew, or eventually, we also found out that it was changed for politically correct reasons. You know, absolute nonsense. When Gatwa came in, I think there was more of a relief for the fact, oh, they've gone back to being a bloke because they realized it hasn't worked. So it didn't matter about anything else. We were just glad to have a bloke back in the role. And I think 99% of us as Doctor Who fans were willing to give the bloke a chance. But because of his inability to build the character and the crappy scripts he was given, a lot of us have walked away again. What do you guys think?
You didn't think that he's, the black bit, I didn't give a crap about, quite frankly. I'm not interested in the colour of his skin, just in the quality of him as an actor. And unfortunately, that was a letdown. But the gay bit, and so what? Because to me, naively, I wouldn't think at the time that would come into it. Yeah. But of course, it was all about it. It was literally about nothing else. Eyeing up any male that he could see, and then eventually getting it on with one. I mean, of course, it was all about his gayness, and not about his ability to act, his ability to portray a character as complex as the Doctor's character. It was nothing about that, because he can't do that. All he can be is Ncuti Gatwa.
We also have to put the majority of the blame for this RTD's door, who allowed it, who allowed those two women that wrote that awful episode of Rogue to come in and say, oh, we'd like a romance for the Doctor. Oh, let's make it a male, because aren't we progressive and aren't we big and clever? And that, I reckon, I said this before and I'm saying it again, I reckon it's because they knew that fans wouldn't like this, that they did it, because they seem to want to upset the fan bases of everything now, every day. And that's why they're failing. That's why we're not buying the merchandise. That's why we're not supporting the shows. And that's why you get more people watching shows like this on this platform than you do the actual shows. There are certain Americans that have got huge ratings. I mean, they're going to be massive in the next couple of years. It's huge. They're going to be competing with television. This is the thing that these people need to understand. I think they've already started to wake up in America about this. But we are now broadcasters, and we are challenging you.
Yeah.
And it's getting here in Britain as well. You've got to understand your voices are not the only ones there, and people are turning more and more into platforms like this. But a lot of that failure and that episode must be down to RTD, I would say.
Oh, yeah.
Book starts with him.
Yeah. Historically, says Paul Rose, movie, TV genre fans were more accepting than the masses. We just don't subscribe to woke. This is the whole thing about it all. I've said it many, many times, haven't I, Paul Rose? We've been fraternizing with people different to ourselves all our lives because we're science fiction fans. We've been AI in our world. AI has been around forever. Androids, very, very powerful women. Princess Leia, for crying out loud. Ripley, for heaven's sake. All the usual ones we quote. The Bionic Woman, if you want to go down that way, as well as significant strong females in Doctor Who. Jo Grant, Sarah Jane Smith, Leela, Romana. I mean, they're making it up. They've made problems with all this, haven't they? They really, really have.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you've gone quiet, you two.
No, they do. They've always liked to throw their istophobe and ists. I've already said ists, haven't I? But I mean, with Whittaker, it was all the sexist, wasn't it, and everything else. But you're absolutely right. We are not afraid of strong female characters. We want strong female characters. You know, give me a Sarah Jane. Nothing against Debbie Watling. Loved her to bits, and her character was right at the time. But give me a headstrong, determined Sarah Jane Smith any day over a Victoria Waterfield, because, you know, the screaming would get a bit much. Give me a Barbara Wright, you know, anytime, a woman who would think things through and not be afraid to take the lead on something, or to put one of the male characters right or in their space. You know, anytime. Fantastic, brilliant, great, bring it on. Leela, wonderful character.
Wouldn't be allowed today, though.
Yeah, would not be allowed today.
No. And that's the hypocrisy. She was an incredibly strong female character who was aggressive because she was a hunter. She was an animal in a sense, wasn't she? Oh no, they wouldn't be allowed to put that on. That's probably one of the reasons that we've never seen an alien female Doctor Who companion, because they would have to make a non-human, and they can't write that, can they? It has to be from the modern day. A, because they think that the audience can only relate to a modern day character like them, i.e. straight out of the set of EastEnders, or B, because it might be too much work to show something that's a little bit different as an alien. And it could be a little bit, because Leela would not be allowed on television today. Not at all, especially outfit, the ability to use the knife, language, the fact that she wasn't, well, she was an animal, wasn't she? She had that instinct.
When they brought her back for the season 15 trailer that she did, it could work as work her being in Time Lord Society. That would be superb. Imagine a series like that with Louise Jameson. That'd be superb, wouldn't it?
My point, Paul, though, is that you can't repeat Leela as an original character today. It wouldn't be allowed. Would not be allowed. Legion of James is with us. Hello, mate. If Shooty had been a white straight actor, he would absolutely have been called out for lack of talent. But now, because of the identity politics, he is flying into roles. There's hypocrisy and double standards. I have no doubt now in my mind, and I would never have said this 2 or 3 years ago, but right now in the world we're in now, this DEI stuff has benefited a lot of people, not just in the show business industry, but in other industries as well, because people are going out to say, we must fill that particular quota because we've been told to. We have to do that. And if you want to call me an ist for that, go ahead. I don't care. That's where I am now because of these people enforcing their opinions on me. I now see every single difference in a human being, whereas a few years ago I never did. And I think that's ridiculous. I think it's shocking. And I blame these people.
Because they're often shouting. They're often shouting, aren't they, from the rooftops? Look at me, I'm different. Appreciate me more because I'm this or that. Yeah. Whilst at the same time demanding that they get treated the same. Well, if you want to get treated the same, shut up constantly bleating about the fact that you're different. I don't give a toss.
Yeah.
You know, as long as I'm not interested in getting more privileges than them, and I would prefer it if they didn't get more privileges than me. That is what being equal is all about. But they want to be treated the same whilst constantly going on about being different and wanting privilege. They don't want equality because they've had it for bloody years and they haven't recognized it. They want more. They want privilege.
Absolutely.
They're not going to be happy until they have everybody else locked down in a little box and not allowed to speak.
And
but he has
like
he has to put his money where his mouth is, though, doesn't he? Because he keeps saying, "I can do this, I can do that, I can morph into different characters." I've not seen that in anything he's done. So
no, it's true, and it's also the media in general as well. Vanity Fair asking that question shows exactly where they are, and they are now. I hope they go bust because they're not in tune with the American public now either. You know, it's the elite again, isn't it? It's the privileged elite that is now looking down on all of us, and entertainment is very much part of that. And as I say, last week they got kicked up the arse for it. And this week has been hilarious as well because you've seen various people leaving America. Who's going to miss them? I hope they don't come here. We don't want you. You had that whole thing about people leaving X to go onto a rival platform. And as soon as they got there, they started eating each other alive. They started slagging each other off and complaining that people weren't using the pronouns and all this sort of, oh, get a grip. They're all blooming lunatics. It's hilarious, but it's great to talk about, I have to say. Peter Venkman fansite get mad because they swap out the Doctor. It's racist, but be upset over black characters being changed to other races and genders, and it's nothing. Yeah, I mean, again, it's hypocrisy. And I've said it before, we're never going to get a white guy playing heroes such as Mandela or Malcolm X or Steve Biko. Personal heroes of mine, by the way. We're not going to get that. They're not going to be allowed to. And yet it works the other way where you can recast whites. Show business is so hypocritical. There's no, and it's creeping into everything. And this article sort of ties in with that. They are players on a stage, TV, film, etc., entertainers, all that's entertainers, that's all we ask, says Pete Harrington. And Enspiel saying to us here, sigh, these perpetual victims, exactly. Is it possible we now have Doctor Who played by Shooty Smollett? Yeah. Unfortunately, Peter Venkman fansite, who's asking us, are they serious with that? They are indeed. And Paul Rose is saying, if any of it since later Capaldi had been any good, none of the rest of it would matter. But it's been terrible. Yeah. John Cartwright, I hope you're feeling better because he's telling us he suddenly feels nauseous.
Don't we all?
Yeah. The Lady Knightsbridge herself is saying it sounds like Gatwa doesn't need an intimacy coordinator. He needs a psychologist. Sweetheart, many of them do, though, don't they, the Lady Knightsbridge? A lot of them do. They all need some sort of psychiatrist, never mind psychologist, psychiatrist. The majority of them, they're just completely and utterly loony.
Well, he's a legend in his own mind, isn't he? And he needs
his own lunchtime.
He needs a huge reality check.
Bill Lowry saying to us, saying you don't like Gatwa's portrayal gets the same response as Jodie's, phobe ist or rot. Your reasoning doesn't matter because they've missed the point. And the media led all this as well. Don't forget, they were really involved with all this as soon as she was announced. So if you don't like this, you're an otter, an is, or whatever it was going to be. Utter nonsense, because again, they judged everybody. What they didn't look at was the fact that fans were coming out saying he doesn't do that. It's not how regeneration works. It's in the context of the story. And then a couple of years later, Chibnall actually hears these things and said, well, I'm going to change the backstory then, and I'm going to make him not a Time Lord so it can fit the agendas we put in. To a blind Spiel Snape, it's bloody obvious what they were doing, you know? Trying to justify their agendas in the show. It's just ridiculous. Mark Greaves is saying to us, I'd listen to JT, Ian and Paul before anyone from BBC Studios. They won't have us.
No, they won't.
Lex Kane is
saying sorry, JT, you're talking about just slight tangent, but we're talking about hypocrisy and everything else. I was catching up with, I stopped listening to it for a while because it really irritated me, the Radio 4 Any Questions on a Friday. And I was walking the dogs today and I was listening to it on catch up. And they were talking about the Church of England and Welby resigning and all that kind of thing and covering things up. And they were taking a very holier than thou attitude about it. How dare an organisation like this cover things up? And I'm thinking, just the way you did Savile.
Everybody,
It's just, and it's not just them, but there's this organisation that covered up Savile for so long, talking about another organisation doing effectively the same thing, but from a position of how dare they? This is so wrong. And the hypocrisy was just stinking. It was, unbelievable. But they don't see it because they're just noses in the air, aren't they?
Oh, it's totally. They're completely ignorant. And because they don't want to see it as well, because they are protected by their own bubbles. As somebody was saying before, people in the entertainment industry do live in their own bubble. And the real world is a shock to them, as we've just witnessed over the last 2 weeks. You know, it's a real wake-up call. They don't understand it, and then they break down and they cry and they react, and everybody that doesn't think like them is the bad person. It's about time they started to consider the fact that actually you're the ones with the issue. You've created the issues that we don't want in real life. You know, that's the issue here. JT says, Paul Rose, you're dead right. The mainstream has gone mad and we don't want it. Hence no TV license and watching you guys now. Thanks, Paul. This is the future unless they come to their senses soon. I think it's too late, personally.
Yeah.
I think it's done. I think that's
it's too late for Doctor Who, certainly, yeah.
Oh, totally. And I don't, as I said before, I predict it's never coming back. This is it. This is the end. So let's be prepared for that. I'm not that any of us are going to bother. Lex Kane was saying to us, hi JT, would you ever one day do a review on the movie of Patrick Stewart's Christmas Carol? No. We've got here from Raymond Williams, Gatwa is no Rock Hudson. Gatwa can only play a version of himself. He could never play a straight man. I'd like to see him do that, actually, but the fact with it now,
he's an actor, he should be able to.
Let's hope so. But because now it's all about them, could these people do this? It's about their identity. He's mentioned it in the article. It's about their identity now, how they identify. And if casting directors are looking at this, that's going to have a huge effect on shows. Because the Doctor, for example, in Doctor Who, is an alien. So how on earth are you going to cast for an alien? Because
you're never going to be able to cast it, are you? That's the thing.
No.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying here. So they've got to prove themselves now. So I believe he is playing a straight guy in The Importance of Being Earnest. If anybody in our audience is going to shell out the £95 plus to go and see him, please send in a review. Let us know. Come and tell us about it if you want. We'll sort something out. If any of you are going to see it down in London. Dalek Eye is saying, hopefully 2025 will see a big wake-up call for all these people. More so in America, because at the moment they're all in mourning. And they're being very judgmental. Even here in the UK, they're being judgmental about people that are even like us, supporting democratic rights. That's all it's about. We don't have to like the person that's won, but you have to respect the system. Because without that, democracy's in the toilet. And
they like democracy, don't they? But as long as people vote the way they want them to.
Exactly.
And apparently, I was surprised to find out today that there's 4 states in America, I think California is one of them, that are still counting.
Yes, yeah, I heard that.
Unbelievable. They'll keep counting until they get the result they want, I think.
And it's never going to work. And again, that's against the democratic right. I mean, we've had it here, haven't we? We had it over, we still have it today in Scotland with the independence vote, with a party that's the I say lead, that's a joke, in control of the Scottish government, questioning it every single bloody day, 7 days a week. They want to do it again. They want to do it again because it didn't go their way. We had it with Brexit, which didn't go the way many of us wanted it to. However, the majority ruled. You get on with it and you contribute. And they're still moaning about it 10 years afterwards. It's democracy. Get over yourself. You don't like it. Tough. Get over it and then move on, because that's life. I just don't get it. I always don't get it. It frustrates me. You know, this is why democracy is in danger in the Western world. And we've got people like China and Russia looking at us, waiting.
Yeah.
I swear to God, they're waiting. Hello to Dr. Howe, who's joined us. Nice to see you as well. And Paul Rose is saying you now can't qualify for an Oscar unless enough of your cast and crew meet DEI quotas. It's utter madness. Exactly. It really is. That's going to change.
Yeah.
That will change. I guarantee you that's going to change. Hello to Demorpin. It's nice to see you as well. Thank you for joining us. Because Demorpin is saying to us, I like to think of myself as Madonna. It never fails to make me laugh. I know. You're nowhere near her, love. And even she's gone up the woke canal sometimes, you know. But anyway, what else we got here? It's nice to see you all. Julianne is saying to us here, Shooty's chameleon-like acting ability is matched only by RTD's writing talent. As ever, to the point from Julianne there. Absolutely. But that's his latest bit, everybody. That's his latest. I mean, what can you say about it? It's just what we expect from these people, isn't it? Yeah. It's what we expect. It really, really is. Mudcrab is with us as well. Democracy to the left is everyone agreeing. It's not about other ideas. It's about everyone agreeing to the one correct answer that they dictate. It's what we used to call an echo chamber.
Yeah.
And you can see that over the last week since that result there. I mean, You know, I mean, this whole thing about I'm leaving the country, yawn. You know, my rights are in it. Oh God, I can't do it. My headache.
The thing about it is they say that and then they don't leave the country, do they?
Well, apparently
No,
Robert De Niro has, hasn't he? And Tom Hanks has. Although apparently, allegedly, there might be other reasons for that as well.
Have they got to Canada or somewhere? Have they?
Free speech is the cornerstone of democracy, says Dr. Howe. Of course it is. Here, here. That is why censorship online is such a big deal. Any skew online is putting a thumb on the polls. Well, you should see where Britain is on that.
Yeah.
We are shockingly bad. We are shockingly bad. You know, democracy is dying in Britain. It really
They're
is.
not very happy with Elon Musk calling out the UK as a police state, though, are they, for imprisoning people for memes and tweets? It's glorious seeing them wriggle because they can't touch him.
No, they can't. It's like J.K. Rowling with the women's issue, isn't it? They can't touch her. And we need people like that to speak for common sense, you know, and truth. Because I don't want to live in their fantasy world. Can you imagine? Can you imagine working in their fantasy world like they do in show business? Can't say this, have to say that, have to say that. And yet there are people working in the entertainment industry that hate it. But it's their job, it's their livelihood, it's what they've done, and they have to toe the line. How awful must that be day to day? You must hate going to work because you can't say boo to a goose. That's an old British saying. Yeah, so thank you. Raymond was saying to us here, high taxes, they won't be moving to the UK. Absolutely, because that's all coming in for us in 2025, isn't it? We're going to be paying more than we've paid in many, many years now. Anyway, that's another subject. Well, listen, so that was the Vanity Fair. I always think the name is very, very appropriate. And the latest interview was Shooty Gatwa there, everybody. I hope you have enjoyed the show. It's been another big show for us. Thank you so much for joining for us. To Not Paul and to Birthday Boy Paul, it's getting late. Thank you so much for that. Hope you've enjoyed the show this evening as well.
Very much so. Thank you. Yes.
Yeah. Good chat. You know where you can get more of this? Well, stay with us. You can subscribe to the channel here at Who's Views. We would appreciate that. All views are welcome, as you've seen in this particular show, and also indeed in last week's particular show. But thank you. If you are still, if you have subscribed to the channel, please make sure you are still subscribed to the channel. That's all I can say on that one. And don't forget, yes, we've got a big week coming up for you. Our review of season 2, our overview there on Wednesday, the best telly theme tune in the world show on Friday, and on the 23rd of November, the big day itself, 61 years, we'll be here on Saturday night with our anniversary Legends show as well. We'll be back next Sunday, God willing, as well, for more headlines. What a schedule for you. You're not going to get that anywhere else, I can assure you. No, although they might try. Anyway, from Not Paul, Birthday Boy Paul, and myself, thank you so much. We do appreciate you. whosviews1@gmail.com. Get in touch. We'll see you again later on in the week. Bye, everybody. Bye-bye.
Good night, everyone.
Bye.